The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it's another day, another live. We're here to talk some boxing, man. Just here to talk to the people. I don't really have a specific topic for today. I feel like this live right here would just be a bit of a chill live where we just talk about whatever any subject you guys want. We can go from point A to point B to point Z back to point A. It doesn't really matter. I just wanted to talk some boxing and see what's going on, everybody. But before I get into some topics in boxing and some things going on in the boxing world, I wanted to first start off by saying this. I wanted to start off by saying rest in peace to Jeanette Zapata. What was the girl's name? Jeanette Zapata, the Mexican fighter, the woman who passed away in Canada this past week. She was a young fighter, 18 years old. I think she was like 2-4, or 2-3, or 2-4. Either way you slice it, it doesn't matter. Her record is irrelevant. What really matters is that she lost her life, and it's highly unfortunate. And it just goes to show us that this boxing game that we love oh so much, as beautiful as it can be, sometimes it can be equally as brutal, as gruesome, and you can literally lose your life doing this. And I know a lot of times as fight fans, we hear fighters say these things that they put their lives on the line, that they can lose their lives doing this. But when you see incidents like this with this young lady who passed away, it's just a reminder that this fight game is not to be played with, and that's why fighter safety is so important. That's why it's important to talk about and stick up for what is right in boxing. And rest in peace to her. I want to learn some more about her. I want to learn more about her life and her career, and do a proper video tribute to her, because you never want to see things like this. And I have friends that are in the fight game. And this is the kind of thing that I'm always fearful of, that they wind up like her or Patrick Day or Maxime Dadashev. And I just pray to God that they don't. So, just rest in peace to her. May God comfort her family. We'll have a video later on this week once I learn more about her life and career and things like that. So God bless to the Mexican warrior, Jeanette Zapata. Now, let me put my crown on. Let me put my crown on, because, when you're the untouchable, when you're the when you're the iconic one like me, sometimes you got to remind yourself when you got to wear the crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So I'm gonna wear this crown the entire life, because truthfully, I'm the untouchable. Nobody can fuck with me. So I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear this freaking crown, because I should be wearing this crown. I really should. But let's get into some comments, man. I see a couple of interesting comments already off the bat. Shout out to my guy right here. He says Canelo pound for pound. Hey, it's just your opinion. I don't think a guy who's a science experiment should be a damn on the list. But it's each his own. I respect your opinion. Hey, Susem, what's good? Champy says, what's up, BT? Will we be live for Mauricio Law versus Josh Warrington tomorrow? Yes, I will. I absolutely will be live for that. So yeah, if you guys are gonna be around, don't make no plans. I'll be live with Pops for the entire card. It's a stacked card too. I got Granados versus Ben, which is a fight that I'm very excited for. Ebony Bridges. Make it what you will about her. She's on the card as well. So it'll be good to see some boxing tomorrow. After everything that's went on this week with, this fraud right here. And speaking of frauds, it's got. I don't know why. Like, look, this live, like, some people get pissed off with me talking about Canelo so much in his camp and the science experiments over there. And I have videos where I've literally addressed this. Like, there's literally a video on this channel titled "Why Does True School Sports Hate Canelo?" And I've been addressed this. But since you asked, because I'm not gonna be disrespectful to people who ask me a question, okay? Just to put it in layman's terms, I don't know of any fighter who represents more of what the fuck is wrong with boxing than him. From being protected to screwing a lot of fighters over with these catch weights, rehydration clauses, not getting punished for PED use, just a lot of things, disrespecting fighters, all kinds of things. I mean, I could literally do a 3-hour live on that. So I mean, how much time you got? How much time you got, champ? You know, I can give you a lot of reasons, but the main reason I'm gonna give it to you is that he's a fraud, he's a punk, and I have no respect for him. None. Zero. Like not an ounce. If he loses by get decision or gets knocked the fuck out and gets seriously hurt, I'm not gonna feel bad for him because he deserves it. Straight up. Jesus M asked, what does Granado's got to do to win the fight? I think for him the most important thing in this fight is round management. You know, managing the early rounds. You know, Conor Benn is a very explosive fighter, and he's already shown that if if he if you allow him to get you out of there early in the fight, he's explosive enough to do that. We saw what he did to a veteran fighter like Samuel Vargas early on in his last performance. So I think it's the same thing. I think Granados has to get through the first 3 or 4 rounds without getting hit too hard. You know, I know he's not the best defensively, but I think managing those first 4 rounds is of great importance to him. And I feel like as he gets those middle rounds, those later rounds, you know, he can really test the endurance and stamina of Conor Benn, who always brags about how he's been crushing it in the gym with Tony Sims. So we're gonna see how much he's been crushing it in the gym if Adrian Granados can get him to that 7th, 8th round, 9th round. The punch that I think that Granados is gonna have to land in this fight is gonna have to be the straight right hand. The straight right hand I think is one of his best punches. You know, when he fought Porter, which is a fight I thought he lost decisively. When he had his success in that fight, and when he's had success in many of his fights, that's been one of his money punches, and I think that'll be no difference here with Conor Benn. So yeah, I'm going with the straight right hand. That's what we need. Word of the day, shout out to him. He said, do you remember my comment the other day? I said, I believe that they look the other way. I don't remember that comment, but I'll take your word for it. It happens in boxing. If you're referring to like the drug testing and stuff, it definitely happens. You're damn right. Andre, what's good, champ? He says, what's good, BT? I commend Plump speaking out on the blatant cheaters in boxing, but I still think he's going to get smoked, sadly. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. And I think Caleb Plant's more than capable of beating him. You know, Canelo Alvarez couldn't even knock out Callum Smith, and he stood in front of him in 12 rounds. So, you know, he might be an elite fighter, but he's no monster. I guess the proof is of my suspicion. Yeah, I mean, if you said that the other day, your proof is correct. J Ball says, I'm here, bro. What's funny is you haters are waiting for Canelo to lose. Listen, I don't know Canelo. I'm going to say what I said the other day. I don't know Canelo. I've never met him. So I can't say I hate Canelo because I don't know him. But what I can say is for what he portrays and what he stands for, I don't like nothing he stands for. I think he's the fucking scum of the earth. And I wish, honestly, I don't like wishing bad on people, but if something bad were to happen to him in or out the boxing ring, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Like that's where I'm at with him. Like that's exactly where I'm at with him. I want him to lose, not because I think he's this great fighter or anything like that. I want him to lose because I think it'd be good for the sport. I like boxing. I love the sport. I want what's best for the sport, so that's why I want him to lose. Straight up. Salute BT. Did you get your nickname from Nicolino El Intocable Loche? No, I didn't. I didn't get it from him. I honestly didn't even know that he was called that. But shout out to Nicolino Loche, the great Argentinian fighter. All politics aside, he's a great fighter. I don't know if I can agree with that. Well, why is he a great fighter? When has he ever been a great fighter? His career he's literally been spoon-fed, protected, and babied more than any fighter in boxing. Like, that is a fact. You can start all the way back in his first world title fight with Matthew Hatton. And then anytime he's fought the top creme de la creme guys like Floyd, Lara, Golovkin, they've all been close fights, or he got schooled, or he got good decisions. So I'm not gonna. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a world champion fighter. I'll give him that. I'll definitely say that he's an elite fighter. But to throw around this word "great," people in boxing, they like to throw around that word "great," and I don't think he's earned it yet. He could be. He's got potential to, but I don't think so yet. Shakur, what's good, champ? My main man from England. How you doing? Good to see you. What's up, BT? What's up, Shakur? Shout out to my man Shakur. He's going to be running down the wing in the Premier League soon, nutmegging people and scoring goals. Shout out to Shakur. A great person and a great subscriber of mine. Pound for pound says protected. 2 of his last 3 fights have been against world champions. When was the last time Crawford fought a 147 world champion? Crawford fought a 147 world champion in his first fight. Something Canelo didn't do in his first fight when he fought at 168. Second of all, as far as his last two guys being world champions, listen, man, let's just be real. Okay, Smith was a trinket holder. All right, you know what? We're gonna do this because everybody wants to always talk about Callum Smith and his resume and all this stuff and how this is a great win. I'm gonna give you Canelo fans 90 seconds. Anybody who's dick riding Canelo, I'm gonna give you 90 seconds. You've got 90 seconds to name me every person that Canelo Smith defeated in the World Boxing Super Series. If you can't name me every person he defeated in every round of the World Boxing Super Series, don't talk to me about who he's fighting. Because Callum Smith versus Canelo Alvarez was one of the biggest mismatches in any championship fight we've had in boxing in decades. And I told you guys this. You guys can check the receipts. The videos are still up on the channel. I told you guys a month in advance that it was going to be one of the most mismatched fights 2020, and that was proven to be true. So don't talk to me about. He's been protected. His whole career he's been protected. Pamaroon, what's good, champ? Shout out to Pamaroon with the first super chat of September. I really appreciate it, champ, with the $10 super chat. He says, "Hey everyone, it's a new month. Let's make sure we keep putting in our share because BT and Pops is giving us great boxing content and keeping it exciting for us. Get that super chat donation to them ASAP." I appreciate that, champ. Yeah, look, we appreciate everything. I wouldn't be here wasn't for you guys. I may not have as many subscribers as other channels, but I always say that this is the home of boxing. If you follow this channel, you're truly a boxing fan, whether you agree with my opinions or not. You're truly a boxing fan, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep banging the drum and fighting the good fight and giving you guys that world class, that real deal, that raw and rugged, uncut boxing talk. You know what I'm saying? So much love to my main man Pan Maroon, man. I really appreciate him. God bless you, champ. Are you gonna interview Granados the other day after the fight, win or lose or draw? Yeah, that actually is the plan. The plan is to interview him. Yeah, that was the plan. You read my mind. That's what I'm gonna do. I believe he's got a good chance. I don't think we'll get a decision if it's a close fight and it goes to the cards, but we'll be live for it, and I'll be supporting my friend, and then God willing, he can come out victorious. Jesus M asks, will you be live for the fights on Sunday on Fox? You know what's funny? I keep forgetting that there was fights on Sunday for Fox because I've been so caught up in this whole PED thing with the science experiments and this fight tomorrow. But yeah, that's a good fight. Jesus Ramos, a really, really, really good prospect at 147. He's taking on a fighter that I actually had the honor and the privilege to watch spar when I was in Vegas in Brian Mendoza. And I'm very excited for that fight. I actually think that's the sleeper fight of the week. Brian Mendoza versus Jesus Ramos. If you guys aren't doing anything Sunday, I'll be live for that fight as well. So definitely tune in. Definitely be here for that one. Is the girl Ebony's fighting being underrated just due to the hype of the bomber and her image? Yeah, Jennifer Hahn. Jennifer Hahn is definitely a good fighter. She was decorated amateur. I think she might have even been world champion at one point. She has a brother Abraham who was a fighter as well. I was telling my dad this. I'm like, look, Ebony Bridges is gonna get all the attention, but I think it would be foolish for people to underestimate Jennifer Hahn. I've seen Jennifer Hahn fight, and she's got skills, so it's definitely a good fight. Ebony Bridges is a fighter that's exciting, and she's getting a lot of attention because of her breasts and things like that. But as far as the boxing goes, she's not the most sound defensively. She's there to be hit. So I think it's a good fight. I really do. I really do. Shout out to my man Victor. He says, you and your dad are racist though. Will you admit that today? I'm not racist because the only race is the human race. Get that punk ass pussy ass shit out of here. What the fuck you talking about? All we were racist. I see people like you are prejudiced and people like you are racist, and what you do is you take your shitty worldview and you come on these platforms and you project what you feel about people and what you feel about the world. So no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Pound for pound, King Canelo fought Crawford fought Kell Brook. Wasn't he a world champion at 147? He was at one point. So Jeff Horn is good now. Jeff Horn isn't bad. Jeff Horn isn't bad. Everybody likes to make Jeff Horn out to be like he's this garbage fighter. But if you want to be objective and just leave all your preconceived notions at the door, Jeff Horn was he was an Olympian. When he was a prospect, he beat good veteran fighters and a former world champion, Randall Bailey. He beat Ali Funeka, who was a former world champion. He beat 2 former world champions before he fought Pacquiao. Then he gave Manny Pacquiao a good fight. So Jeff Horn isn't a bum. He's not a great fighter, but he's not a bum either. People don't know shit about boxing and don't do their due diligence. So they get really intellectually lazy and they say, oh, well, Jeff Horn's just garbage and he's trash because Crawford made him look like he was garbage and he was trash. But he's not garbage and he's trash. So no. You hate black and Mexican boxers. No, I don't hate black and Mexican boxers. I hate bitch ass niggas like you. That's what I hate. I hate people like you. Like you keep talking. If you keep talking, Victor, I'm gonna boot you out of here. You keep talking, I'm gonna boot you out of here. Talking about I hate black and Mexican boxers, and I probably know more about black and Mexican boxers than you do. I probably have supported more black and Mexican boxers than you do. So what are you talking about? Come on, champ. So who does Canelo have to beat to gain your respect? I've already told you. I don't know why people. I don't know if y'all listen to when I talk. I say the same. I'm extremely consistent when it comes to this subject, and I've been telling you guys the same thing for I don't know how many months now. So if you didn't get it the first 7,897 times I said it, let me say it for the 7,898th time. If Canelo wants to shut me up and get my respect, I'm talking about with a snap of a finger instantly. All he has to do, he don't even got to beat this guy. Do you hear this? He don't even got to beat this guy. All he has to do is sign a contract to fight him, and my whole tune will change. And that guy is Demetrius Andrade, the guy that he's been ducking for over half a decade. He does that, I have nothing more to say. All respect to him. And in fact, if he says, if Canelo Alvarez in the next year or so actually hikes his skirt up and signs a contract to fight Demetrius Andrade, I'll buy a Canelo Alvarez t-shirt and I'll wear it on I'm alive. How about that? Just to show you guys that I'm not hating. You're always hating on Ego and Dante's boxing, though. I don't fucking talk about Ego and Dante's boxing. I don't watch their channel. I don't give a fuck about them. They can literally go and get hit by a damn bus, and I don't know them. Listen, let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you guys. When it comes to the YouTube boxing community, I don't really have any friends. I'll be honest with you. I have people that I'm cool with. I got people that I respect. A couple of channels. I'm not gonna name them, but there's channels that I respect. I show everybody respect. But when it comes to these other channels that you guys like Dante and Ego and I don't watch these channels like that. I'm in my own world. I'm in my own world. I'm covering boxing. I'm reading. I read a bunch of books about boxing every day. I work out a lot. I have a life aside of this, and in my life involved in boxing, I don't go to their channels for news and information. I'll go read articles. I'll go on Twitter and I'll read tweets every now and then. I'll watch documentaries. I like to read books. I like to learn about boxing. I like to study the history of the sport. I like to educate myself. I can literally count on one hand in the last 2 or 3 years how many times I've watched either one of those videos. And in each of those cases, when I have watched those people's videos that you're mentioning, it's only been because people have sent me their videos and they wanted me to see a particular part of the video. But other than that, I don't go out of my way to watch these people. Come on, man. You've been sparring lately, BT. What fighter do people say your style is like? Why do you say that? Why do you say I've been sparring? And then he says, as far as my style, I've heard all kinds of stuff. I've heard Michael Carvajal. I've heard Canelo. I've heard Austin Trout. I've heard a lot of weird comparisons. I don't really compare myself to anybody. Is Kate Taylor overrated? I'm not gonna say she's overrated, but I definitely thought she lost to Delphine Persoon. I definitely thought she lost to Delphine Persoon on both occasions in both fights. She definitely lost. There's no debating that. You need to tell these people about John Ruiz. Hey, that's funny. Me and Shakur were talking last night. John Ruiz has a crazy he has an underrated resume. He lost to Roy Jones, but then he followed up with a win against Hasim Rockman. I think he beat Olin Norris. He beat Kirk Johnson. He had a crazy resume. I don't remember it all off the top of my head. I just remember a couple of names. But I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rewatch his whole career. Just rewatch some random fights and rewatch his career, because when you go on John Ruiz's box and you see the names that he fought and who he beat, he wasn't the best fighter or anything like that, but he was definitely an interesting fighter. I mean, I didn't even realize that. I know he fought Holyfield, but I didn't even realize that they fought 3 times. So Holyfield actually had multiple trilogies. He had the trilogy in the '90s with Bo, and then he had the trilogy in the 2000s with John Ruiz, and they went 1-1-1. You know what I'm saying? Smith is trash though. Okay, he is. He is. I'm sorry. Like for as much he's trash in the sense of like for the perception of how people gas that went up versus how good he actually is. He's not that good. Listen, before Canelo fought him, he already got exposed brutally. He fought bootleg Canelo. He fought the bootleg English Canelo, John Ryder. Okay, he fought John Ryder, who was the corner store, 99-cent, great value, dollar store, English version of Canelo. And John Ryder beat the brakes off Callum Smith, and they robbed John Ryder so that they can they could keep the big Canelo Callum Smith fight alive. So if you didn't watch, listen, you got the Canelo picture in there, so I'm gonna assume you probably didn't watch that fight. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Shout out to Victor. Victor says, "R.I.P. to the young Mexican that lost her life in the ring." Absolutely. R.I.P. to Jeanette. I think her name is Jeanette Cepeda. I think that's her name. I don't want to butcher her name, but Jeanette Cepeda. It's unfortunate what happened to her, and rest in peace to her, and rest in peace to all the fallen warriors these last couple of years, like God rest his soul, Patrick Day, Maxime Dadashev, and everybody else in between. The other amateur boxers that died in the AIBA World Championships, who I made a video about. Rashawn Al, I can't say his name, but he died. Everybody. Victor is a tampon boy. He watched your channel. He would know you love, hate, and are indifferent to fighters. If you watch that, you're indifferent to fighters always. Victor is on your tip. He's projecting you. Yeah, you get a lot of these punk ass, soft. I'm talking about sissy, soft people that don't have any life experience, that don't do anything with their lives, but sit around with their victimhood mentality and project it onto others. Listen, man, my favorite fighter of all time is from a country that I have no affiliation to, and that's Nicaragua, and that fighter is Roman Chalatito Gonzalez. So don't talk to me about, I hate this fighter, I hate that fighter. I don't give a fuck about nationalities. If you want to go talk about nationalities, go to them bullshit channels that he was talking about that like to cry and bitch and moan about race. Go over there with that bullshit. But when you're in the home of boxing, when you're on the untouchable True School Sports empire, you come at me correctly and you keep it boxing, because I don't care about where fighters are from or anything like that. I respect everybody. The great fighters come from everywhere. If you look at my top 5 favorite active fighters in boxing right now, you got a fighter from Nicaragua, a fighter from Scotland, a fighter from one fighter from Brooklyn in South Florida, a fighter from Omaha, Nebraska, and then another fighter who's a British gypsy. Anybody who can honestly, in their heart of hearts, believe that what Victor claimed about me earlier, they haven't really watched me. They're just projecting themselves onto me. So I appreciate you, champ. Why do you diss Canelo for not fighting Andrade? He is not scared. He just has bigger fish to fry. Which bigger fish does he have? Because I'll be honest, Caleb Plant, I like Caleb Plant, and I think he's going to beat Canelo Alvarez, and I'm sticking with my guns on that. But if we're being honest, his resume is worse than dude. I said dude. I read the comment and then I said dude. His resume is worse than Demetrius Andrade. So yeah, man. I don't know how you can sit here and say he has bigger fish to fry. Did he have bigger fish to fry when he was at 160 and he was talking about being undisputed? No, because Boo Boo had the last belt. But Canelo, we've been there. We've been down that road before. We don't need to go there. We've been down there many times before. You know what I'm saying? Nathan J, what's good, champ? Good to see you. King Hassan says, I meant, have you been sparring? No, I haven't been sparring, but for the last 2 weeks, I have been working out. I've been running around the neighborhood and stuff, and in my backyard, I've been shadow boxing in the middle of the afternoon in South Florida with the sun barreling down on top of me. So I just been working on my fundamentals, my jab, and my footwork. Just stay in the shape, keeping active. Making sure that we're getting our exercise in and doing the things that lead to a healthy lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So no, I haven't yet, but I do plan on doing that soon. I was supposed to train with my boy Eric Lances Jr., who was a professional fighter here in South Florida, but he hasn't got back to me yet. So I'm waiting for him, and maybe we'll get to working with him. Riddick Bowe is gonna knock out Lamar Odom. I think so. Man. And I'm hoping to be there. This kid can't fight. He fight like Augusto. I don't know who that is. So that you're trying to be funny, and that joke went over my head. So joke's on you. Don't let my pound for pound and username fool you. I'm not biased when Canelo wrong. He wrong, but he's not gonna sit here acting like Canelo ain't pound. He's not. What is he doing? What is he doing that's so special? What is he doing that's so special? Like, tell me what he's doing so special. I already know what you're gonna say. Resume. He beat all these guys who had a trinket, but anybody who watches boxing knows that they weren't that great. Like, you can't sit here and tell me Billy Joe Saunders was a great 68-pounder. All the guys that were the biggest threats, he never fought them. All the guys that were truly killers, he never fought them. He just flirted with the idea of fighting them. And then he fought like guys that had belts that were convenient for him. But honestly, if we're being honest, if we compare Josh Taylor's last 5 fights to Canelo's last 5 fights, Josh Taylor's taking a big dump on Canelo, resume-wise. If y'all want to talk that resume talk, Josh Taylor's last 5 fights compared to Canelo's last 5 fights, not even close. Josh Taylor is taking the biggest dump on Canelo if we're talking about resumes. And unlike Canelo, who's just now, after 50-plus fights in the professional ranks, it took him 50-plus fights in the professional ranks to get to this point. He's just now attempting to become undisputed. Josh Taylor ain't even had 20 fights yet, and he's undisputed. There's levels, champ. There's levels. Who has Canelo actually fought who wasn't old and were bums? Shakur asking the important questions. What are your thoughts on Salvador Sanchez? I think Salvador Sanchez, without a shadow of a doubt, is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. It's not even close. It's not even remotely close. You look at his win against Wilfredo Gomez, an all-time great Hall of Famer, one of the hardest punching fighters of that era, a great win. We look at his win over Azuma Nelson, an amazing win. And the list goes on and on. He's got about like 3 or 4, 5 great wins on his resume. And he didn't even get to see 25 years old, because the thing is, back in those days, unlike today, fighters didn't waste no time. When there were fights to be made, they got made. When it was time to get down to business, they got down to business, and they wanted to see who was the best. And I'll be honest, the only reason that it's even debatable that who the best Mexican fighter is of all time is only because he passed away. Because I'll tell you this, if he would have stayed alive, there were a lot of rumors that he was going to eventually move up and fight Alexis Arguello. And look, that would have been a killer fight, a one for the ages. I think Salvador had the skills to beat an Arguello. Arguello was good, but Arguello did at times show himself to be a bit shinny. I think he would have had a good chance against Arguello. And if he would have got that win, it would have been like not even a debate. So I feel like Salvador Sanchez, I think people talk about how great he is, but I think his greatness is understated. Like the guy could do it all, like from being a great outside fighter to a great slugger. When I think about, not forget Mexican fighters, when I think about when I think about boxing, and I think about the fighters that define boxing and make boxing a sport that I love so much, and a sport that I love, I just cherish. He's one of the guys that made this sport special. So what I think about Salvador Sanchez, I think Salvador Sanchez was creme de la creme, top shelf, one of the best fighters you'll ever see in your lifetime or any lifetime. Just a hell of a fighter. What are your thoughts on the Oscar De La Hoya COVID hospitalization? It's unfortunate. He did look like he was in bad shape, but on a positive note, the real story ain't Oscar having COVID. You know what the real story is? The real story is my main man, the real deal, Evander Holyfield. He's coming back. He's coming back to fight Vitor Belfort. So I'm actually more excited now, because I want to see. I know how hard Evander trains in the gym, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does under the lights. He's waiting to fight for a while, so good for him. Should be a lot of fun. What's up, champ? Ukeme, what's good? Yo asked who he fought. Don't matter the result. He stepped in the ring with the elite. Yeah, it took him, 40 fights, 50 fights? Congratulations. But look, boxing is bigger. boxing is bigger than that piss stain Canelo. We don't need to talk about him. There's plenty of other things to talk about in boxing besides him. Plenty of other things to talk about. So anything aside from, like, I'll be honest, I don't want to talk about that no more. Because I'm already planning on doing a couple of other videos on Oscar Valdez, and I'm not talk about it enough already. Let's talk about something else. Like, I don't want to talk about it no more. He'll lose on November 6th, and then we'll talk about we'll talk about him on November 7th. Shakur says, BT, you need to get me on one of these lives. I swear to God, these Canelo fans. One of these days soon. One of these days soon, Shakur. One of these days soon. But yeah, man, tomorrow we got a good fight, though. We got a good fight tomorrow. Josh Warrington is trying to definitely get himself back in the featherweight picture. He got sparked by Mauricio Lara, and now he's got his chance to avenge that loss. And, like, I got to be honest. Eddie Hearn, I don't understand how these fighters get knocked the hell out and then get a rematch in their hometown. Like, that doesn't. How does that work? If anything, Mauricio Lara should be getting this fight in Mexico or at a venue of his choosing. It's just getting ridiculous. So I want Mauricio Lara to win because I don't like the fact that he came from Mexico. He knocked out Lara, came from Mexico. And he has to go fight in this guy's hometown in Leeds, which we all know when freaking Warrington fights in Leeds at Ellen Road, he's a different fighter. So that's why it's hard for me to have a prediction because yes, Lara knocked him out, but he didn't knock him out in Leeds. Josh Warrington at Leeds is just a different fighter. So we'll see how it goes. We see how it goes, man. But it's your boy BT, the untouchable, True School Sports Empire. It's that random prime time boxing talk. So anything goes. Any questions you guys got anything regarding the boxing? You drop it down below and I'll get to it. Shout out to my man Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul, the face of boxing, the real face of boxing. He says Jake Paul is the face of boxing. And listen, I agree. He is the face of boxing. Yeah, you can hate him. You can love him. You can say he's a piss state on the sport, but ain't nobody doing the numbers he's doing right now. So I can't even argue with you, champ. If you came here looking for an argument, you're not gonna get it from me. You're not gonna get it from me. B. Ferris says, should Josh Taylor rematch Regis Prograde before moving up to 147? I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think he has to. I don't think it's something he necessarily has to do because Prograde hasn't necessarily done a lot himself since he lost to Taylor. I think the only fight he's had since then was Juan Heraldez. So, he hasn't necessarily done enough to earn the rematch, and Taylor's got a lot of options. So, if it happened, I'm not gonna shit on the fight. It'd be a good fight. I get excited for it, but it's definitely not in the top 2 or 3 fights I want to see for Taylor. And I want to see him fight Lopez or Crawford. Those are the fights we want to see. Shout out to my guy Brandon White. And Brandon, I appreciate you the other day in the comment section. I saw you in the comments putting people on game. He says, some of you fanboys are weird calling him king. Yeah, man, you can't be calling him king. You can't be calling him king, man. The only king is Jesus. And I guess I got a crown, so maybe I can be king too. Why is boxing considered 90% mental? It's considered 90% mental because a lot of times you get in that ring and you could do all the practicing you want. You could do all the shadow boxing and sparring you want. Or even sometimes when you go to spar, like you can do all the training you want, but when you get in that ring and you put the mouthpiece in and you put the headgear on and you have another person punching you, sometimes you got to deal with the nerves. You got to deal with your own fears of getting hit and things like that. So I think it's 90% mental because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs in the fight, and the fighter who's the more mentally stronger person will win the fight. Boxing is a metaphor for life. You got your ups, massive downs. You might land a big right hand and you might get one in return. So whether you're landing the big right hand or you're getting one in return, you got to be able to weather the storms and continue to press forward. So I think it's 90% mental because a lot of times you can have all the talent in the world, and if you don't have yourself right mentally, it doesn't matter. Look at like one of my favorite fighters, Riddick Bowe. One of the most talented heavyweights you're ever going to see, but wasn't disciplined. Wasn't disciplined mentally and he blew it up in weight. So he robbed himself of achieving his full potential. Look at fighters like a Kell Brook, another guy that I like. Kell Brook is a fighter that had all the talent in the world, but once he got knocked out and got his eye socket broke by a Triple G, he was never the same fighter. And a lot of that goes back to the mind. So I hope that answered your question. I'm still not sure who I'm picking in the Lara versus Warrington 2 fight. I don't either. I legit do not have a prediction. I legit do not have a prediction at all. We'll see. Message to True School Sports. The Jake Paul empire started from YouTube just like everyone else. Support the people's champ, Jake Paul. Hey, listen, man. I used to be a Jake Paul critic. I used to say all the stuff that these boxing purists say, like, oh, he's disrespecting our sport. Don't support him. All that stuff. But then I started to see like the impact he was having. I started to see how he was actually talking a lot about. He's bringing a lot of truth to the light about boxing, about fighter pay, and about Canelo and a lot of other subjects in boxing. So he won me over a long, long time ago. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I love watching his fights because I don't think he's that great as a boxer, but I like what he's doing as far as getting these fighters paid, and we're looking out for him. He's done more for some of these fighters in one fight than the promoters have in their whole 10, 20, 30 fight career. So I have the utmost respect for Jake Paul. But at some point, though, I gotta be honest. At some point, like soon, his next fight, I think, has to be at least Tommy Fury. He's got to fight a boxer. He can't be fighting like Tim Tebow or another Instagram. He needs to fight a boxer, like his next fight, and that fight has to be Tommy Fury. Nah, there's no fighter that's my king. No way. No, only king for me is the guy named Jesus Christ. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'll be honest. I don't have like I think right now the pound for pound discussion is very up for grabs. I don't think anybody's really taking it by the horns. Yet I think there's like 4 or 5 fighters you can make an argument for. But if I had to pick one, it would be Josh Taylor, because he's doing everything you ask a fighter to do. He's not wasting no time. He's making the biggest and best fights in his weight class happen. He went undisputed in less than 20 fights. I think if you add up the combined record of like his last 5 opponents, it's like 132-1. I saw a stat with they're like 132-1, and the only fighter of that bunch that had a loss was Victor Postal, and his loss was to Terrence Crawford. So you can't even hate on that loss. So, yeah, man. Arguello massacres Josh Taylor. Alexis Arguello? Oh, yeah, I missed it. Alexis Arguello versus Josh Taylor. Who wins? It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em. Everybody's gonna say Arguello because Arguello is the old school fighter, but I like Josh Taylor's chances. What are your opinions on Fernando Vargas? I always felt they brought him along too soon, and he was old by his mid-20s. Is he one of the greats? He was sure. Always aware for sure. Well, look, I have the utmost respect for Fernando Vargas. It was a classic case of too much too soon. But hey, at least for him, we don't got to wonder what he could have been. He went in there and he tested himself against the best. So I have respect for him. He was a very talented fighter, and it's one of boxing's. You could say it's one of boxing's big what if stories of the 2000s. What would Vargas's career have been like if he was moved along a bit slower? It's one of those things where you could talk about for hours. I agree about progress. Hopefully the Lopez fight happens. Yeah, absolutely, man. And look, I love Regis' program. Huge fan of Rougarou. I want to see him get back in the ring and get these big fights and show the world that he's still one of the best fighters out there. I like to see him take on. They were talking about Gervonta Davis. If Gervonta Davis really want to see how good he is at 140, go fight Rougarou, and we'll see how that goes for him. I thought there was 4 kings that were supposed to fight. Where the fuck are those guys? Man, shout out to my guy Ray Ray, my man Ray Ray, asking the right questions. Well, let's do the math. Ryan Garcia got mental health problems. Devin Haney's on social media continuously. Who's the next one? Teofimo Lopez. He's fighting Camboso soon, but he had COVID and then went on vacation with his wife. He had COVID. Who's the other one? Tank. Tank's too busy picking a regular belt. So they're everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. You know, the only guy that's really done anything is Teofimo Lopez, but you can't even really talk about him right now because he hasn't done anything in a year because he's been stuck in with this whole Camboso situation. Will Demetrius Andrade retire without a big fight? What a shame. His career, his poorly managed career would be. I'll be honest with you, man. I was listening to an interview today from Eddie Hearn, and they were talking about his next two opponents. Now, his next two opponents are fighters that people are going to say are bums and that he's cherry picking. And it is what it is. But his next two opponents, it's either going to be Jason Quigley or Felix Cash. And I think both those fights are tough fights. I think they're tough fights. Those are guys that aren't big names, but those two guys can both fight. Quigley was, in the world championships, the same amateur world championships that Demetrius Andrade won gold in 2008 or 7. He won a silver in the middleweight division behind Golovkin. Quigley's a solid fighter. He's a solid fighter. You know, not a bum at all. Felix Cash, another guy that, you know, crazy amateur pedigree. He's someone that's very low, high risk, low reward at the moment. So not easy fights at all for him. But as far as the big fights, yeah, man, I don't see it. I'll be honest, I don't see it. I'm being honest, as somebody who's a fan of his and wants to see him do well, I don't see it. But I got my fingers crossed. You know, all I can do is just, you know, continue to fight the good fight, talk about them, and hopefully something happens one day. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody here, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button. You know, hit the subscribe button, super chat if you like what's going on the channel. Subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Let me know what city, what state, what content you're watching from, and I'll give you a shout out. My man Jake Paul, undefeated knockout artist, cash cow, GOAT, says Jake Paul gives the fans what they want, from the great undercard, the great press conferences, to show-stopping knockouts, to an all-out war. Well, I'll give you that. You know, this was a very well-promoted card. I was very excited for this card. Like, I didn't start off that excited about the card early in the week, but the closer the fight got, the more excited I got, because there were some good fights in the card. Like Montana Love. I knew Montana Love versus Ivan Baranchyk was going to be a good fight, and it turned out to be a brilliant fight. So he's most valuable promotions, man. If people ask me who's my favorite promotional company in boxing, it's not Top Rank, it's not Matchroom, it's not PBC. It's Most Valuable Promotions. Everybody, shout out to my main man, 50 grand, Sebastian, the technician, Santana, one of South Florida's very own, you know, Flacco's Community Gym, you know, up and coming amateur. I want everybody here to say what's up to Sebastian. Sebastian, the technician, Santana. Get to know that name, because he will be making some waves in the amateur ranks and the professional ranks in the coming year. So look out for him. He says Josh Taylor would outpoint Alexis Arguello. So, hey, I ain't the only one who's high on Josh Taylor, you know. Milky Way says that Josh Taylor lied about dropping Ugas in sparring. You think so? Why do you say that? I would like to know why you think that. Why do you think? Why do you think that Josh Taylor lied about that? I want to know. I don't think he lied about it, to be honest, because Ugas had such an angry reaction to it and typed him He typed up a damn thesis statement. He typed up a damn thesis statement on Twitter. You know, a research. He typed Josh Taylor a damn research paper. So I think there might be some truth in it. The truth might be somewhere in the middle. What makes Demetrius Andrade so good? Now we're asking some good questions. We're asking some great questions. So, from my vantage point, what makes Demetrius Andrade so good is, first of all, his height and his size for his weight class. Very tall, very rangy for that weight class. Second is the punching angles. The angles he punches from are very, very weird. They're not traditional angles. And on top of that, Demetrius Andrade is a master at distance. He's a master at knowing where he's at in the ring. He's a master at making punches fall short, smothering punches, taking shots off punches. He just knows, like, the best fighters in boxing, and you can go throughout the whole history of boxing, the best fighters in boxing, they're not the ones that hit the hardest. They're not the ones that, you know, have the flashiest skills, but the best fighters in boxing are the ones that can win a round in different ways. You know, some fighters can only win rounds one way, which is pressure. Some fighters can only win rounds one way, which is, you know, boxing off the back foot. But Demetrius Andrade, I've seen him win rounds boxing people, slugging with people, boxing backwards, boxing forwards, going laterally. all kinds of ways. And I feel like that makes him a really tough fighter to beat. And most people don't know this about him either. He can actually switch hip. He can actually box orthodox and southpaw just like Crawford, but he doesn't have to do it most times because these fights most of the time are just so easy for him. Is Angelo Leo going to get another fight with Fulton? I don't think that's going to happen. I actually heard some news today about Angelo Leo that I can't say, but it was crazy. It was some crazy. It actually had to do with Stephen Fulton. It was crazy. Johnny Cortillo, if you're out there, let me know if I can disclose what he told me today. That shit was crazy what he told me today. I don't know if it's true, but what he told me, that was crazy. Felipe was good. The real El Jefe. Hey, shout out to my guy out there in Texas, Felipe, the real El Jefe. Hark detailing. 240. Let me see if I remember the address correctly. 242 South Baghdad Road, Grand Prairie, Texas. Make sure you go there for all your car detailing needs. He said, "What's up, King Leonidas? What's good, champ? How you living? What's good, man?" Let's see. Hold on. I missed some comments. Hyro, what's good? Hyro says MVP is the best promotion company. Like Floyd said, the real fighters fight on Showtime. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Making it happen. True School, what it do? Oh, 704 Joe, where you been, champ? I haven't seen you in a minute. He says, True School, what it do? I'm sorry. I'm against these anti-YouTube celebrity fights. You got professional boxers begging to be on the card. Well, shit, I would listen. You can't blame them for begging to be on the card. When you see Regis program making $850,000 if I red catch, I would beg to be on the card too. That's some good money. Come on, man. What do you think about Tyson Fury as a fighter? I think he's brilliant. I think he's a fantastic fighter. What's there not to like as a fighter? I watched your video yesterday about Canelo and them getting elite treatment under failed drug testing. It's not boxing, it's sports. LeBron, Cristiano, Usain Bolt, Flojo, all are too big to fail. Well, that's not true. You can't say LeBron's too big to fail. He's like 3-6 in the finals, or 4-6 in the finals, whatever he is. So he's failed plenty of times. But I get what you're saying. They're not going to ever be caught by the powers that be. I kind of went into that yesterday about basketball. Basketball drug testing is so outdated. It's the only sport in all of sports that has never ever caught a superstar athlete doing PEDs, which I've been around NBA players. There's no way in hell that some of these guys aren't on juice. There's no way. They play too many games back to back, and there's too much wear and tear on their bodies for them not to, because they need to recover. You might have a game in Miami one night and then come back in less than 24 hours and have a road game in Denver in the altitude. So, yeah, man. Jesus M says, how do you attack a boxer who smothers punches? That's a great question. How do you attack a boxer who smothers punches? Well, if a fighter is smothering punches, generally what that means is he's closing the gap on you. So rather than him staying at the end of your punches and allowing you to extend and hit you with all of his power, he's going to the power, which sounds crazy, but when a fighter wants to smother punches, he goes to the power. So that way, when you extend, he can take some steam off the shots. And for the fighter that's throwing the punches, when a boxer is smothering punches, you have to really shorten your shots. So the best way you could attack a fighter who's smothering you is to either step to your left or right laterally to create a new angle, and you want to try to get around them. If you can get around them, or if you can get maybe another foot of space to throw a jab or a left hand, that's the best way to attack a fighter with who's smothering your punches, in my opinion. Observer, what's good? He says, True School, good morning to you there, brother, from the Philippines. Shout out to my Philippines. Listen, man, I got a lot of views and a lot of great people that watch this channel from the Philippines. So if you're from the Philippines, God bless the Philippines and all the fighters from there. I got mad love for the Philippines. What do you think of Eddie Hearn trying to make undisputed at 140 for the females? Who's at 140 for the females? That's not Katie Taylor, right? Who's at 140? Because I get them all mixed up. Tell me who's at 140. Because I always get them mixed up. Will Jake Paul make boxing bigger than the NFL? No. That's a bold statement. He said he wanted to do that, but I don't think that's tough, man. And I'm not a big NFL fan like I used to be, but NFL is massive in this country. So that's like You're pretty much saying what he's essentially saying is that boxing will become the most popular sport in America, which I would listen. If that was ever the case, I would be over the moon because I feel like boxing should be the most popular sport in this country and in every country because I think boxing is the best sport in the world. But I don't think that's going to happen. Boxing is, in my opinion, I think Jake Paul's doing good for what he's trying to do, but there's too many agendas and too many hands in the proverbial cookie jar for boxing for them to actually like go ahead and be bigger than the NFL. If boxing made these fights like Crawford Spence, Taylor Lopez, Fury Joshua, like if they made these fights back to back to back to back to back, then I could see it. But until then, I can't really see. American champ Callie Reese, if you know who that is. Oh yeah, Callie Reese. I know she. Okay, I remember Callie Reese. She fought. I forgot who she fought, but I know who she is. I don't know who's in that weight class, but if Eddie Hearn's trying to make an undisputed championship fight in the 140 division and get them girls some money, I'm all for that. Women's boxing is it's a very tough grind. It's not the most exciting sport in the world, if we're being honest, across the board. But these girls get in the ring, they train, they put in that pain. So if they're gonna do these fights to get some money, more power to them. I can't knock that. I really can't. Jake Paul will give boxing back to the people, support the people's champ. I support him, champ. I want to interview him. When he comes to Miami, I'm trying to interview Jake Paul. That's what we're trying to do here on True School Sports. Next time Jake Paul's in Miami, I'm gonna try to get that interview. My boy Montana beats Josh Taylor on my mother. It's possible. Listen, I like Montana Love. I think he's a brilliant fighter, and I'm really happy to see. I'm really happy to see Montana Love get a big win against Baranchek. I've been following him for a long time. He showed me a lot in that fight, and I'm not gonna doubt that he could beat Josh. I think he's capable of being a lot of guys at 140. So, if Taylor can't get no fights against Lopez or Crawford or anybody like that, make that shit happen. Why not? I like Montana Love, and not just that. He's actually forget me liking him. Fuck what I like. He's proven himself. He beat a common opponent with Josh Taylor. 704 Joe says, "What do you think about the WBC letting this fight go on with Oscar Valdez?" Well, I've spoken at length. I think it's sending a bad message to a lot of fighters because essentially what you're saying is that drug testing in boxing doesn't matter, that drug testing in boxing is obsolete, because the whole point of doing drug testing is to catch fighters that are putting substances in their system that are giving them an unnatural competitive advantage to give them an extra boost to hinder their opponent. If you catch somebody doing with a banned substance in their system and you don't punish them at all, like, look, I know a lot of people had a lot to say about Povetkin, right? I remember when Povetkin tested positive for meldonium. He tested positive for meldonium, but that was actually a very unique case because they had what is it? Was it WADA? WADA had just banned like meldonium. Not like there was a crazy thing with it. Like it was a technicality, like to where like if you took meldonium in the last year, you were gonna get caught. Like it was a big thing. You just go look it up. Meldonium in the Olympics and all the people that got caught and stuff. Freaking meldonium, I've looked it up. It could be classified as a PED, but he didn't have nearly as much of that shit in his system as Canelo or Oscar had in their system. And people I find it funny. If you're gonna condemn Povetkin, cool, but keep that same energy for Valdez and Canelo because look, when Povetkin cheated, I was here on YouTube. I have a short memory. I have a long memory when it comes to boxing. I can't remember what the fuck I ate for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember what happened in 2016 when it comes to failed drug tests in boxing. Alexander Povetkin. I remember when he tested positive for meldonium, people were very quick to condemn him. And whatever, fair play to you if you want to do that. But now when Valdez tests positive, people say, "Oh no, you gotta give the benefit of the doubt. You gotta wait." But when Kovalev tested positive earlier this year, I didn't hear people giving him the benefit of the doubt. When Povetkin tested positive, I didn't hear them giving the benefit of the doubt. When Jarrell Big Bay Miller tested positive, I didn't hear them giving him the benefit of the doubt. So and them fighters didn't get the benefit of the doubt. Why on God's green earth should Valdez get the benefit of the doubt, especially when he's connected to who he's connected to in boxing. You know, keep it consistent. You can have your favorites. There's no problem with that. I have my favorites in boxing. I make no secrets about that. But when it comes to these drug tests, we're gonna keep that same energy. Why doesn't Florida support boxing and Cuban people don't attend the fights? That's how I don't know, man. It's a good question. You know, in South Florida, what I can tell you is that there's a lot of things to do. You know, there's South Beach, and people like to go get caught up in nightlife and things like that. So, if you're gonna be putting on a fight here, you better be a damn good fighter. You better be somebody that has people interested in talking, and you better know how to talk and market yourself because it takes a lot to capture people's attention here. You know, so that's my reasoning. But I still think South Florida is a great place for boxing. I think it's a great place for like local club shows, and I'm going to be at a local club show next weekend, September the 10th. I'll be in Delray Beach at the Black Sheep Promotion Show, watching Lawrence Newton, who's a good prospect, Antonio Bang Williams, and a lot of other good prospects. So I'll have a lot of content from that show coming out for you guys. And you never know who we might run into, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Julio Cesar Martinez, salute BT. Brandon Lee will be the next undisputed champion at 140. What do you think of him? I like Brandon Lee. I think Brandon Lee's being moved great by I think Brandon Lee is being moved perfectly by Cameron Duncan. I think he's got great fundamentals, explosive power, just a really, really brilliant fighter to watch, and I got high hopes. I got high hopes for the kid. I got high hopes for I got high hopes for Brandon Lee. I think when we look at the future 140 and the next crop of guys that could potentially be, champion, then he's one of the guys that I'm looking at. Definitely a good fighter. I saw what he did to Tsunami Samuel Tay, and Samuel Tay is a guy that's been on Showbox, Box Montana Love, Box all kinds of guys, giving him good fights, won some tough fights, beat some decent opponents, and nobody has ever done to Samuel Tay what Brandon Lee did. That was one of the most devastating knockouts you're going to see, not just this year, but in any year. So, great. A really talented prospect, a lot of potential, a lot of room for improvement. Looking very forward to seeing how that young man's career develops. Shout out to everybody here, man. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor. It's the untouchable True School Sports Empire, live, prime time, random boxing talk, man. We here, man. Hyro Galvez, what's good, champ? He says it sounds crazy, but if Jake wins a WBC regional, his belt will mean more than the sauce, even with Eddie Hearn as a hype man. That's right. If Jake Paul messed around and win a WBC trinket, it's gonna be more than Lawrence Okolie. Facts. Nah. Oh, Ali 313 Detroit. What's up? Shout out to my man Ali 313. He says, nah. Josh Taylor would probably outbox Montana like Kenneth Sims did on Showbox. Woo! You're right. You put me on game. I remember that fight. I forgot about it. Did he lose that fight or was that a draw? Because I know Montana Love has a draw on his resume. I think he has a draw. He is a DTW fighter. Cleveland people know what that is. He's gas, toughness, and he trains with Davis, and I do as well. Oh, shout out to you, champ. Keep getting it in. Keep training hard. Best wishes to you. And listen, the Ohio fighters, the Midwest fighters are tough, so I'll never underestimate them. But I'm telling you, man, freaking Josh Taylor, y'all keep flapping your gums and running your mouth, and you think Josh Taylor's sweet. You think he's Callum Smith. You think he's freaking Ricky Burns. You think he's freaking Billy Joe Saunders. He ain't those other European fighters. So. If you don't learn now, you'll learn later about Josh Taylor. Brandon Lee with Chin Montana Love. Make it happen, man. That'd be a good fight. I'll love to see it. Why? Here you go. Another fucking English major. Bobby Boxing. Why you be hating on Mexicans, puto? This clown is bad for boxing. SMH. I see why he ain't got that many subscribers. Hey, shout out to you, champ. Take your punk ass out of here, champ. There you go. BT, boxers also take pride in beating fighters who are on that shit. They double down and always say PEDs will make you a better skilled fighter. They swear by it. The commission knows this as well. Yeah. Well, hey, it's look, that's just fighter talk. That's fighter talk, man. PEDs won't help you. PEDs won't help you throw a better jab or a better right hand as far as your technique is concerned. But what it can help you do is it can sure as hell help you have some stamina in the 11th and 12th round to be a lot fresher than your opponent, and that definitely helps. So it does help. Love versus Ramirez should be the co-main event for Canelo versus. You know what? That's the smartest thing any Canelo fans ever said on this live, on any live. So much respect to you. I would love that fight. Jose Ramirez is a guy that's coming off a loss, former unified champion, USA Olympian. Another pressure fighter. Let's see how he handles that style. And if he can beat him, then there sure as hell ain't no way there sure as hell ain't no way he shouldn't fight Josh Taylor, because then he will have beaten two common opponents, two former world champions, and there'd be no choice but for Josh Taylor to fight him. So, I'm right there with you for it. I like Montana Love. I'm right there with him. Logan Paul versus Nate Diaz. Who you got? Logan Paul? Logan Paul can't box. If you're talking about Jake Paul, I think Jake will beat Nate Diaz in a boxing match. But Logan Paul, he doesn't need to be boxing no more. Yeah, Ali 313. You see it, champ. You see it. The stars and stripes, baby. The stars and stripes. Much respect to everyone out there, but everyone knows who runs boxing. America runs boxing. Shout out to the stars and stripes, baby. Mondo Solo, what's good? Yeah, he says BT doesn't hate on Mexicans. He don't like Canelo, but he definitely doesn't hate him. I'll tell you right now, there's no way hell I can be Mexicans, because all my favorite women are Mexican. All my ex-girlfriend's Mexican. The girl I'm talking to now is Mexican. I love Mexicans. I love the Mexicans. I love Mexican culture. I love Mexican food. I love everything about Mexico. I love Mexicans. I just like Canelo. Gallo Estrada, I fuck with Gallo Estrada. A lot of fighters. Even though he's a cheater too, but I like Julio Cesar Martinez. I like Carlos Cuadras. I like Gilberto Ramirez. Let me see. Ramiro. Shout out to my guy Ramiro. Much love to my guy Ramiro. What's up, BT? Do you know anything about who can possibly be Boo Boo Andrade's next opponent? I just said it about maybe 10 minutes ago. I was listening to an interview today. Eddie Hearn did an interview today on Boxing Social, and he was talking about that. And the two names that were discussed were Felix Cash and Jason Quigley. So not the fights that are going to get people excited, but I think they're okay. The Quigley fight, not so much. But the Felix Cash fight, I think, will be a brilliant fight. But it'll probably be Quigley, and then people will say, he's fighting nobodies and he's cherry picking and all this stuff. My man Shakur, me and Shakur were talking for like 5 hours yesterday. Shakur was saying, that Tio is going to beat everybody at 140. And listen, I've been telling you guys for a while, Teofimo Lopez is going to be special at 140, but Josh Taylor is special at 140. So I feel like that's going to be like two Clash of the Titans. That's going to be like King versus King. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully Top Rank Boxing, Bob Arum, Todd DeBuff, all parties involved can go ahead and just make that happen for the fans, for all of, Scotland and, America, and just everybody who has any sort of vested interest in those fighters. Pound for pound, King Canelo says, I'm going to say this right now, but I'm biased towards Thomas Matisse, Montana Love, and Sean Porter. And Montana's the best 140 from Cleveland. Hey, shout out to all those Cleveland fighters. I'm a fan of Thomas Matisse as well. I remember many years ago, he had a fight on Showbox against a Mexican fighter named Rolando Chinilla, and I love that fight. That was a great fight. That was the fight that actually introduced me to Thomas Matisse, and I've been a fan of his ever since. So, much respect to Ohio and the Ohio fighters. I'm the same way when it comes to my South Florida fighters, whether it be Teofimo Lopez, Dominique Francis, Xander Zayas, Aaron Aponte, Lawrence Newton. Anybody from South Florida, I'm always supporting him. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah, man. Shout out to everyone here. Josh Taylor ain't fought no damn buddy. He will lose to an American. Caleb Plant is a piece of shit that's flat-footed. What? How you gonna say he had fought nobody? So you don't think Victor Postal, Regis Prograis, you don't think Jose Ramirez? You think Jose Ramirez is a nobody? Come on, man. Let's stop it. Let's stop it, man. But where I will agree with you is if he does lose, it probably will be to an American because America run boxing, so we know the deal. Milky Way says Nico Ali Walsh is milking the sport with his granddad's name. Oh my god. Where's Hyro at? That's Hyro's favorite fighter, my man Hyro. Hyro Hyro has been gassing him Nico Ali Walsh for like a year before his pro debut when he had like 400 followers on Instagram. And yeah, he really has. I saw a video where Nico Ali Walsh, he was in the locker room. He was in the locker room when he met Vasily Lomachenko, and Nico Ali Walsh, while he met Vasily Lomachenko, he didn't even tell him. He didn't even introduce himself by name. He introduced himself as Muhammad Ali's grandson, and that's what got him the picture. So hey, get it how you live, champ. If Muhammad Ali was my grandfather, shit, I would definitely I would milk it for all I could too. So I can't knock him for it. He's doing what anybody would do in his position. Mondo Solo says Gilberto Ramirez has disappointed me. He's moved like a fraud. Yeah, it's unfortunate what's happened to his career. I really feel like Demetrius Bivol and him should be fighting. Like they have no other options. Bivol is Zurdo's best option, and Zurdo is Bivol's best option. So I feel like that's the fight that should be happening. But the things that make the most sense in boxing oftentimes never happen. Pound Room says, BT, we agree. I was just making the point of your heavy lifting to clean up the sport up. That I was just making the point of your heavy lifting to clean the sport up is trickery because the boxers betrays their sport in that way. Boxers start shaming other boxers for change. They do. A lot of fighters want things to stay the same because it's all they know. But boxing's weird, man. Boxing is great. It's beautiful. It's gruesome, but it's also weird too, all at the same time. But we love it. We love this shit, man. 704 Joe says Boo Boo versus Charlo. Also, did Boo Boo waste his career? Well, I can't say he wasted his career. He's become world champion. He's fulfilled a childhood dream of his. He's made a good living. He's made a good living in the sport to provide for his family. So you can't say he wasted his career. But as far as him reaching his potential, I think that ship has sailed. He's not going to reach his potential that he had when he came out the Olympics and as an amateur. Him versus Charlo, Jamal don't want that fight. Jamal said he doesn't want to fight him. Charlo has no swag. He steals Canelo's lines. He's a horrible fighter. He's a horrible fighter. He steals Canelo's lines. He has no swag. He's a man fan of Canelo. And he doesn't want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade. So that fight's not happening. But if they ever do fight, Demetrius Andrade will school him and make him possibly retire from boxing. Palm Rule says Tank beats T.O. Tank is special, and his boxing IQ is crazy. I'm not mad at that, man. Gervonta Davis got that final boss power. He got that TNT in both hands. So you can never ever go against Tank, but ever count him out. But I think T.O. beat him. I got T.O. against Tank. I think T.O. would outbox him. Believe it or not, as funny as that sounds. Let me see. Josh Taylor is ducking Montana Love. Love Taylor on February 22. Yeah, hell yeah, man. My birthday is actually in February, so that would be a great 27th birthday present if we can get a fight like that to happen. But that won't happen because Josh Taylor's going to fight his IBF mandatory, who actually deserves the fight because Jack Catterall did take the step aside money to allow Jose Ramirez and him to fight, so he does deserve the shot. So he's gonna fight him December 18th, and then if he should take care of business there, we'll see what happens next. Yeah. What excuse are you going to make when Canelo sleeps Caleb Plant? I won't make any excuse. I'll give him his credit. Personally, I think Canelo's gonna pull out the fight. I think Canelo. I think Canelo. Listen, I think Canelo is going to. I think he's gonna pull out this fight, man. I think Caleb Plant's gonna keep putting that pressure on him, and he's not gonna he's gonna get really sensitive and pull out the fight because he's gonna feel disrespected. He's gonna say, "Oh, he's disrespecting me." So listen, if the fight happens and Canelo wins, credit to him. He's the first Mexican undisputed champion. I know you guys think I hate Canelo and like all that stuff. I don't fucking know him, so I can't say I hate him because I don't know him, but I don't like what he stands for in boxing. But if he wins, fair play to him. After he beats Caleb Plant, I would like to see him find his balls and fight Demetrius Andrade, and that'd be great if he can actually beat Caleb Plant, because that's not a gimme, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Funkaholic, what's good, champ? He says Reynoso fighters must have shady nutritionists giving them special meats and tea. Yeah, man. Listen, you never know what you never heard. You never know exactly what people are giving their fighters behind closed doors. Supplements and vitamins, and you just never know. Food. Victor says, "True school sports. I heard you got knocked out in sparring 3 times." No, I never got knocked out in sparring. I don't know who told you that. I'll be honest. I can be honest about myself. I've been dropped in sparring a couple of times, like about 2 or 3 times, yeah, but never knocked out. I've never been knocked out in my life. All my life, every time I've ever got dropped in sparring, I came up and I fought. I finished the round, but never knocked out. Montana Love almost got chinned by a washed Ivan Barancek. I don't think he's that good. Ooh, Julio, you hear that? Julio Cesar Martinez says that Montana Love is the bootleg Adrian Broner. Damn right. You hear him? You hear him, champ? He's saying Montana Love don't got it. He said that once Montana Love steps it up, he's gonna send him back to that Too Pretty nail salon. For people that say BT hates Canelo, BT already said and even demonstrated that all Canelo has to do is get respect and sign the contract to fight against Boo Andrew. Yeah, that's all he's got to do. Like, I don't understand why. Listen, I don't understand. And thank you, Ramiro. I don't understand why that's so hard. Like, I'm not even asking him to beat him. You know how crazy that is? Like that's like I'm setting bare minimum expectations because that's how confident. I don't think he wants to fight him. And I think he's truly been avoiding him. You guys can say all you want about, he's got bigger fish to fry, but there's been multiple times where Demetrius Andrade was the best available option, and he turned the fight down to fight a lesser fighter. That's a stone cold, crystal clear fact, But listen, we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the cash cow of Ohio boxing, Montana Love. Yeah, Montana Love. MB Boxing wants. He said he wants to see Montana Love fight Adrian Broner, and you know what? I want to see that too. I want to see Montana Love, the guy they say is the bootleg Adrian Broner versus Adrian Broner himself. One fighter who comes to the ring with chinchilla on his trunks versus another fighter who comes to the ring with chinchilla on his trunks. It would be unprecedented. We never seen anything like this before in boxing, so make it happen. It'll be a big fight in Ohio. Do you think boxers take assignment dives in 2021? Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned that. Sonny Edwards today on Twitter. Sonny Edwards on Twitter today kind of alluded to that. If you go look at one of Sonny Edwards' last tweets, he kind of talked about that a little bit. I don't think it happens as much as people think, but I think it happens, especially in like big fights. Ooh, hey, I like my man right here. He's pulling that heavy pressure on Josh Taylor to fight Montana Love. So hey, he says tell Taylor to sign that dotted line with Montana after the Jack Catterall fight. Hey, I'm with it, man. If he can't get that Crawford fight and if he can't get that Lopez fight, to me that's one of the best fights out there for him. Make that shit happen. I feel like with Josh Taylor being a crazy, deranged Scottish guy, and Montana Love being who he is, the build will be absolutely crazy. You got a southpaw versus southpaw matchup. Hell of a fight. Once Canelo had to fight Andrade and Charlo at middleweight, he decided to move to 168 and try to become undisputed after Benavidez was stripped and the WBC threw in a 2-for-1 special against Smith. Oh my God. It's not even Sunday. But we preaching the gospel here on True School Sports. Shout out to my guy Funkaholic. I wish I had one of those soundboards right now, so I gotta get me a soundboard. That's the next thing I'm gonna buy real soon. I'm gonna buy me a soundboard. Every time one of you guys make a good point, I'm gonna have that little sound effect where it's like do do do, and the guy's like Don Marco. I'm gonna have that on my soundboard. That's gonna be crazy. You think Canelo is ducking Andrade, yet Canelo has fought way better boxers than Andrade. How can you doubt Canelo after he's fought more dangerous fighters like Triple G and Jacobs? Oh my God. This guy literally thought he was so smart, and he went and he typed in the comment section. He said, Jacobs? Jacobs? The guy that got knocked out by Demetrius Parag? Jacobs? The guy that got knocked out by that got dropped by Sergio Mora? Jacobs? Oh my God. Jacobs, the guy whose biggest win is Peter Quillen? Come on, man. I don't even want to hear about Jacobs. Dangerous boxer. Come on, man. Okay, come on. I respect you, Israel. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate the comment, but come on, man. Mexican fighters run the world. Fuck everybody else. Hey, man, God bless you. Respect to the great country of Mexico, but if you know your history, champ, you know where the best fighters come from. You know where they come from, champ, and it's from that flag right behind me. That's not me being nationalistic. That's not being ego driven. That's me stating a fact. You know what I'm saying? AB and Tana are best friends. They hang out. Ohio boxers don't really have egos. Ohio is a humble place. I fuck with Ohio, man. I don't know if you're familiar with Vic Tony, but he's a fighter from Youngstown, Ohio. I'm good friends with him. I know he sparred a lot of guys there. Let me know in the comments, man. You know Vic Tony? He's like, I think he fights at what weight class he fight at? I think he fights at 154. He's 154-pound fighter from Youngstown. You know him? BT's Canelo versus Andrade is my Tana versus Love. Taylor is ducking Montana Love. Hey, let's go, champ. You pump it up, man. I'm all for it. I'm not gonna sit here and protect Josh Taylor for no boxers. Josh Taylor, I want to see Josh Taylor get these fights with all the best boxers, all the guys who have a name, who are doing anything at 140. I want to see Josh Taylor mix it up with everybody from 140 to 147. I'm not one of these fans of a fighter. I'm not like one of those fans that when my favorite fighters at the top of a division, that I'm gonna protect him from the guys that I think are dangerous. No, I want to see Josh Taylor against everybody, and they can beat him. Credit to them. GGG got robbed, and the second was close. Jacobs got chinned by Parag and beat a washed-up Quillen, and also I thought Derevchenko beat him. I'm gonna disagree with you there. I actually think that I think what's his name? I think Jacobs just barely won that fight, and that's the crowning moment of his career. Is beating Sergey Derevchenko, which it's not a bad win, especially when he fought him. If your name is not Teofimo Andres Lopez Rivera Jr. or Terrence Allen Crawford, nobody is beating Josh Taylor. And listen, man, even though listen, Shakur, even those guys are not safe. I mean, I would slightly favor Crawford against Taylor. You know how I feel about Lopez versus Taylor. I think Josh. I'm slightly favoring Taylor over Teo, but those guys aren't even safe against Josh Taylor. That's how good he is. That's what I'm saying. I like Canelo, but his excuse to fight Boo Boo is not true. Imagine Chavez saying, "I don't want to fight with Pernell Whitaker because he's hard." Oh my God, could you imagine that? Could you imagine the great Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. saying that I don't want to fight Pernell Whitaker because he's a boring fighter and he hasn't fought nobody? Could you imagine Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. saying I don't want to fight Greg Haugen, and I don't want to fight Frankie Randall because they haven't fought nobody? Oh my God! Thank God we have fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who I don't even think has the best resume of all time. I'm not the biggest fan of Chavez Sr., but he showed these Mexican fighters how it was done, how to behave like a real Mexican fighter. So great point, hell of a point. Errol Spence needs to retire. The point being, is the car accident has made him a fragile fighter. He lost all of his boxing mental during the crazy, and the attached retina might be a part of it. What are your thoughts? I think if there's any truth, which they say there is, to the detached retina, I think it's all a byproduct of that car crash. And I think if he were to get in that ring, I don't think his punch resistance will be the same. I think Errol Spence, he might f around and become a chinny fighter, a chinny fighter. What's Andrade's biggest win? What boxer has he beat that tells Canelo he has to avoid him? All of them. All 32 people that have stepped in the ring with Demetrius Andrade, those are all of his best wins. All of them. All of them. All of them. The style, the 6'1" southpaw, Michael Nunn at times. Michael Nunn-esque style of Demetrius Andrade. Punching from here and here. You know, it's a style that's all wrong for Canelo. All 32 fights. All 32 fights. How about that? How you like that? How you like that answer? What did Floyd say? Floyd said, like I said before, every fight played a major key. Every fight played a major key. I'm not looking past Berto. I'm not looking past Berto. Every fight played a major key. You know what I'm saying? Every fight played a major key. Does Josh Taylor look as good under Ben Davison as he did under Shane McGuigan? Well, I think it's still too early to say, man. It's only been 2 fights, and really it's only been 1 because when he fought his mandatory, he knocked the guy out like 90 seconds, and then he had a brilliant performance against Ramirez. So I'm gonna give it like a fight, one fight more before I give you a proper answer on that. But I think, truthfully, I think he's so good it doesn't even matter. I could train Josh Taylor and he would be a champion. That's how good I think he is as a fighter. You know, he's one of them fighters, man. He's one of them fighters. I feel like he can switch trainers 5 times and he's gonna continue winning fights. Like he's like that. Like the same way what if you would put Floyd with a different trainer or Andre Ward with a different trainer or almost any fighter. Do you think boxing is dying? You know, people have been saying boxing's dying for the last 130, 40, 50 years, right? Boxing is not dying. You know, because the reason I'm saying it's not dying is because even if it's not as popular in the mainstream as it used to be, you know, you still got guys like Anthony Joshua who are doing a great job of carrying the sport. You got the big shot on the arm of Jake Paul and the energy he's brought to the sport. You know, even though I think he's a piston to the sport, you know, you got Canelo who brings, you know, the Mexican fans to the sport. So no, boxing has its stars, and boxing will always have the stars, and it goes through cycles. You know, they always say boxing's dead. They always say boxing's on decline. But it goes up and it comes down and it goes up and it comes down, and there's golden ages and there's dry periods, and you know. So to answer your question, no. No, I don't. Yeah, you know, yeah, like I said before, most valuable promotions, Jake Paul, they've done a hell of a job, and you know they make smart investments, and I want to take my hat out to Al Heyman. You know, he done a remarkable job with my career, and you know I should have been Al Heyman from the beginning of my career. You know, and I made smart investments. Sharp, smart investments. Children getting the best education. Yeah, y'all got me feeling like Floyd Mayweather right now. Hey BT, who do you have winning if Zurdo fights Bivol? That's a good question. That's a good fight. Um, Bivol, I like Bivol. I'm a bigger fan of Bivol than I am Ramirez, but I feel like Bivol, he's getting up there in age. He's not as match fit as he used to be. I feel like if Ramirez, I think Ramirez have a good chance to beat Bivol. I might slightly favor Ramirez to beat Bivol. That's why I'm surprised that the fight isn't happening. Shout out to Victor. Victor going crazy on everybody in the comments. He's calling people puto and okay, it's all right. Shout out to Victor, man. Daniel Dalton. Shout out to my guy Daniel Dalton. He says the Ukraine is big in boxing right now with Alexander Usyk and Lomachenko and Triple G. It is dying in America a little, but we're on life support. I don't know. Listen, the thing with American boxing, right? Because like you know, when you talk about American boxing, the standard is so high. I mean, the standards are so high. Because when you talk about the great lineage of the American fighter, you're talking about the best fighters that have ever put on boxing gloves. So it's a hard standard to live up to, and you know, there's so many great fighters still from America, but I'm not gonna say it's on life support or that it's dying. I feel like boxing goes through its cycles. You have dry periods, you have golden eras, and I feel like right now, it's crazy. Right now is a weird time in boxing. I can't really say that. But I can't really say that. I can't really say that boxing's in a golden era or that it's in a dry period. It's like in the middle. It's in a big just pile of nothingness. You know what I'm saying? Usyk versus Joshua. Who do you got and how? I got Anthony Joshua by unanimous decision. I think Anthony Joshua has matured. He's really learned how to use that jab. He's trusted that jab. He's become a mature fighter, a poised fighter, a patient fighter. A guy that's going places in boxing if he continues developing. But it's gonna be a tough fight. To me, this is just my opinion, but I feel like if Joshua wins this fight, this is the best win of his career because you're beating a guy that was a gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, pound for pound fighter, guy that actually has a credible win at heavyweight. He just beat Derek Chisora, so hell of a win if he can do it. Promoters are to blame. The fans lose. Absolutely. Enrique, shout out to my guy Enrique Luna. The promoters are to blame for boxing. They haven't had the best relationship with the fans. The boxing promoters don't think about the fans. They don't think about the consumers, which is ridiculous because the consumers are the ones that pay for the fights and your products. So if anything, you should be working on trying to develop the best relationship possible with the boxing fans and with the paying customers and the public, but they don't think about it that way. Why is Lennox Lewis and Joshua relationship strained, and why does Riddick Bowe also have a deep personal resentment for Lennox Lewis? Bowe shows more love to Joshua, ironically, as well. What gives? Because it hurts boxing. Well, I'll address the first part of your question. Why does Joshua and Lennox Lewis have a strained relationship? In my opinion, from what I've seen, I think Anthony Joshua, he's a very good fighter, like a very good fighter. He's done a lot in boxing in a very short time, and I think Lennox Lewis is maybe a little scared that maybe people will forget that how great he was, because think about it. Lennox Lewis kind of already doesn't get the credit he deserves for being as great as he was right now without a lot of these heavyweights. So if a guy from his country rises above him and is in bigger fights and has a resume just as good as his or close to his, he don't want that, because then that pushes him further back in the rearview mirror. Maybe that hurts his ego. That's my opinion. As far as Bowe and Lewis, that all stems back to the negotiations, the failed negotiations for their fight, and things that have happened over the years. Nothing more than that. Josh Taylor should be a bigger star than Anthony Joshua in the UK. Yeah, but I always tell you guys. I was telling you guys when I was sitting here and when I was ranting about the USA failing to win a gold medal in the Olympics and how that's hurting American boxing. I was preaching a lot about the power of gold medals and the power of how gold medals help a fighter's marketability. And for better or for worse, Josh Taylor didn't win a gold medal. Joshua did, even though people say it was given to him. He won the gold medal, and it gave him that fast track to the pros. Right to superstardom. I don't think Joshua can beat him. You see how the weight he lost? It's possible. I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna be surprised if Usyk beats Joshua, but I'm going with Joshua by the UD. I'm going with Joshua by UD. I believe in Joshua to win this fight. This year is supposed to be one of the best years of boxing in a while. It was, and it got out to a blazing start. Ryan Garcia won a step-up fight on the second day of the year. Josh Taylor became undisputed. A lot of things happened very early in the year, and it's gotten off to a slow start. Bowe lost to Lewis in the Olympics. That's why. Yeah, he did. He lost in the Olympics. I thought, I thought the ref kind of helped Lennox Lewis, but that's another discussion for another day. I'm not really the biggest fan of amateur boxing. I think if they would have fought in '92 when they were supposed to, I think Riddick Bowe would have beat the shit out of Lennox Lewis. If they would have fought in '95 or '96 when they had a fight scheduled, I think that fight would have been a pick'em, and I would have slightly favored Lennox Lewis in the mid '90s, because once he got with Emmanuel, he just went to another level. And Bowe at that time, he wasn't disciplined. Still a good fighter. He was still getting some good wins. Like he had that good win against Herbie Hyde, and he absolutely ruined Jorge Luis Gonzalez, and Jorge Luis Gonzalez was never the same. But he wasn't the Riddick Bowe that fought Holyfield, and he wasn't even the Riddick Bowe that fought Everett Brown or Burt Cooper. I think Lennox gets more credit now than you did when he was fighting, Yeah, I know in America, a lot of people like to downplay Lennox Lewis's accomplishments. Now, my favorite heavyweight is Riddick Bowe, and I have my own opinions about that Riddick Bowe Lennox Lewis saga, but Riddick Bowe was amazing. Riddick Bowe was, I mean, not Riddick Bowe. Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was an amazing fighter, a brilliant fighter, just one of the best heavyweights you're ever going to see. And when he was at his best, he could have did damage to any heavyweight history. Does Bowe have boxing damage? He didn't fight long enough. Nobody fought. He had 43 fights in the professional ranks. He didn't have a lot of years as far as how many professional fights. I mean, how many years he was pro, but he had a lot of professional fights in a short amount of time, and he had some hellacious fights. The Holyfield trilogy, the Galata fights. Herbie Howe was a hard puncher. Riddick Bowe had some tough fights, some wars. So does he have boxing damage? Of course, every fighter has boxing damage. Even the guys that don't talk funny have boxing damage. But when I talk to him, he seems content with what his life and the fact that he became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Something that very few people will ever have a chance, and will ever accomplish in their life. So, shout out to him. Them nut shots from Galata took a lot out of Bowe physically and mentally. Could you blame him? Big ass Polish dude, just in his prime, punching you straight in your family jewels. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And old Larry Holmes did better against Ray Mercer than Lennox did. Yeah, but friggin' Larry Holmes is the truth. Larry Holmes is the truth, man. Larry Holmes is like my third favorite heavyweight. He's my third behind Holyfield. And then actually he's my fourth because it's like Bowe is my favorite heavyweight, Holyfield my second favorite heavyweight, and the third is Fury, and then fourth is Larry Holmes. AJ batters Lennox and Riddick Bowe. You are out of your cotton picking mind. No way in hell, no way on God's green earth is Anthony Joshua, the bootleg Riddick Bowe, beating the real Riddick Bowe. It's not happening, champ. We gone through this, Slotello. We gone through this, champ. We don't got to go through this again. It's not happening. BT, I lovingly disagree. Joshua is in a no-win situation. If he loses to a smaller man, it's Andy Ruiz 2.0. Or no, John Ruiz 2.0. He disgraced PR by letting a smaller man beat him for the belt. Joshua is expected to win. I understand that, but I'm not. I'm giving him credit. He's gonna get my credit if he beats Usyk, because Usyk's a phenomenal boxer, and you can't say that. You can say he's a smaller man, but he's in my opinion, he's legitimized himself in the division. He beat Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is a good heavyweight, especially at this stage of his career. He's actually a better heavyweight now than he was 5-6 years ago. Ramiro says, "Hey BT, out of Robinson, Leonard, Hearns, Floyd, and Pernell, who do you think is the greatest welterweight of all time?" You're asking me a question that I don't want to answer. I don't want to answer that question because they're all great fighters. Fuck, man. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I think they're all great. I don't have one. I think if I had to pick one, I would say Sugar Ray Leonard. I would go with Sugar Ray. Riddick Bowe says that AJ is him 2.0. Yeah, but he never said that AJ could beat him. He just said that he reminds him of himself a little bit, So it's different, Riddick, come on, man. Come on. Conor Benn versus Granados. What's your prediction? Oh my God, man. Why are you asking me this? Why are you telling me this, man? Why are you asking me this? So my predictions for this fight, fuck, man. Because this guy's my friend. I'm rooting my ass off for Adrian, but I think Conor will win. I think Conor Benn will win the fight. Only because I just think Matchroom Boxing has too much invested in behind him. I have some questions about how much Granados has left in the tank. So I'm gonna go with a Conor Benn decision, but I'm rooting for a Granados knockout. So yeah, it's hard for me to say that, but that's my opinion. Monzon versus Hagler, who wins? Give me the marvelous one. Give me marvelous Marvin in that one. If they were to ever fight, By the way, programming reminder tonight for you guys, or for tomorrow. I will be live for the Joshua Warrington Mauricio Lara card, which also has the real main event, which is Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados. I'll be live for it, so make sure you guys don't make no plans for tomorrow. Make sure you join and watch along with me because it's going to be a great day of boxing. Absolutely. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe, super chat, all that good stuff, man. The channel is growing. We're doing good. I'm really excited about just the rest of this year and what we got planned. Um, this man just I'm sorry. Hey, sister, did you really just ask me this question? He said James Toney versus Edgar Berlanga. Oh my God, bro! Edgar Berlanga hasn't learned what a feint is yet, so I'm gonna go with James Toney by decapitation. Edgar Berlanga better learn how to feint, or he's gonna get decapitated real soon. Oh man, this guy is the boxing world. Lil Nas X and all of his supporters are some anal babies. Who are you talking about, Victor? You talking about me? You talking about me, champ? You remind me of bitch ass Millie Vanilli. That's what you remind me of. Cause I don't even know who you are. Just like nobody knew who was singing the Millie Vanilli songs. Why did you throw grease on Chavez as not seeing him as the best Mexican fighter of all time? We can't do hyperbole when great fighters die prematurely. Make it make sense. Why did you throw grease on Chavez as not seeing him as the best Mexican fighter of all time? We can't do hyperbole when fighters die prematurely. Make it make sense. No, I listen. It's not hyperbole. I've watched plenty of Salvador Sanchez fights, and I've watched plenty of Chavez senior fights. Salvador was a better fighter than me, and Salvador beat better fighters, in my opinion. Oh, so Victor's talking about me? I'm Lil Nas X. Okay, well, I'm gonna take my horse to the old time road. I'm gonna block Victor's bitch ass now. There you go, Victor. Good night, champ. Happy trails. You know, come here, disrespect me, compare me to punk ass Lil Nas X. You don't come to the home of boxing and disrespect the untouchable. Who do you think you are, champ? Who do you think you are comparing me to that freaking fruitcake? Don't ever compare me to that fruitcake ever in your life, champ. Listen, I just think technically speaking that I think that Salvador was a better fighter. I think I like the wins against Wilfredo Gomez and Azuma Nelson and them guys and the other guys that he beat better than what Chavez did, in my opinion. That's just me. It's my opinion. I don't care that he died. Like I think he was just better. Chavez is great. Chavez is definitely a top three Mexican fighter. He could be number two. He could be number three. No shame in that. There's no shame in being behind a fighter as great as Salvador Sanchez in any category. If you're behind Salvador Sanchez in any category, you're not in the wrong. You're not doing something wrong. You're doing something right. So Sugar Ray Robinson versus Roy Jones Jr. I'm the greatest fantasy fight maker. Ooh, good fight, good fight. Man, call me biased, but I'm gonna go with Roy Jones Jr., man. I'm gonna go with Roy Jones. Roy Jones in his prime ain't losing to no damn Sugar Ray. A guy with 19 losses. A guy who lost to Jake LaMotta. A guy that lost to Randy was it Randy Turpin? He lost to Randy Turpin. He ain't losing no damn. You're not losing to him. I'm joking around, but I would go with Roy in that fight. Archie Moore has 132 KOs, and some say he was 140 years old. Old school fighters fought damn near every day. Looking at the record, oh my God, bro, oh my God, yes, bro. You go to BoxRec and you look at some of these guys that fought in like the 20s and the 30s and the 1910s and the 1940s and all these way back when. These guys was fighting like 2 times a week. It was crazy. Imagine now these guys. Imagine trying to get Gary Russell Jr. to fight two times in a month. Can't even get him to fight 2 times in a year. Matchroom has invested in him. Granales looked better a couple of years ago. He did. And listen, I talked to Adrian. That's my guy, man. I love Adrian, but I gotta remove my feelings. I think Connor's gonna win the fight. But I'm going for Adrian. I'm rooting my ass off for Adrian. Best believe I'm going to be here. And if he stops Conor, then I'm gonna be talking my shit. I'm gonna be talking about how the boxing game try to blackball him and all this stuff, and he rose above all that, and he's still a factor in boxing despite all the boxing attempts to keep him down. He showed that he's one of boxing's true warriors once again. So it's a big day tomorrow for me. It's a big day. Really excited for this fight. I agree. I agree with BT. Sanchez was a better fighter than Chavez. Absolutely, definitely. That's what I'm talking about, man. Exactly. The last time Gary Russell fought, Donald Trump was taking his he was getting sworn in at the White House. You damn right. Gary Russell Jr., man, what a waste. I don't know what it is, but all the guys that fought like on the was it 2008. Everybody that fought on the 2008 USA amateur team, like Boo Andrade, Gary Russell, Wilder, they've all had funny careers, like weird careers, wasted careers, carefully matched careers. Like it's just been 2008 USA team, man. They're not cutting it, man. The 2008 USA team has had a hard, weird road in the pros. Ali versus Tyson at age 20. Who wins? Ooh. Ooh, champ. Ooh. I'm gonna go with Mike Tyson, man. Give me a prime Mike Tyson. At that stage of the career, I'll go with Tyson. Freaking Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson at 20 was crazy. Ramiro, I need SM1 to call my phone and explain to me how Floyd Mayweather is not the GOAT. Look who he beat on top of his record, on top of his title fights and victories. Yes, Shakur loves Floyd Mayweather. You know, I don't have a GOAT. I'll be honest. When it comes to boxing, I used to get into the whole who's the GOAT talk. I don't get into that no more because I feel like the history of boxing is too damn long, and I don't even. I know a little bit about the history of boxing, but like I don't know enough about the history of boxing to say who was the best fighters because I could sit here and give you guys the mainstream answer, but I'm sure there was some guy like in the 1900s who had like 300 wins, and you know you hear about all these mythological people like what's his name, Harry Greb, like all these guys that fought at middleweight and they won a championship at heavyweight and they did all this crazy stuff. So there's no tape on those guys, but the records are there, the documentation is there, and it's just too hard for me to say who's the greatest fighter ever. You know, too many fighters. Floyd Patterson versus Rocky Marciano. Who would have won? Rocky Marciano without a shadow of a doubt. Rocky Marciano would have absolutely decapitated Floyd Patterson. Floyd Patterson, a great boxer, an excellent boxer, but he had no chin. And the stamina, the conditioning, the power of Rocky Marciano just would have. Oh my God, it would have ended bad for Patterson. Floyd Patterson had like a damn near an Amir Khan-esque chin at heavyweight. So I think Marciano would have. He probably would have lost a lot of rounds early on, but he would have found his shot in the middle of later rounds and parked him out of there. Anthony Joshua beats the ever living shit out of Rocky Marciano. Sadly, Anthony Joshua wouldn't step in the ring with Rocky Marciano. Are you crazy? Are you crazy, champ? Are you crazy? Listen, man. Every time Rocky Marciano comes up, people always want to start disrespecting Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano is one of the toughest men to ever step foot in the boxing ring. This man, people go crazy these days about how fighters do 8-week training camps. Rocky Marciano used to do 8-month training camps. Everybody who was there that fought Marciano, that saw Marciano fight, everyone talks about Rocky Marciano being the most well-conditioned fighter ever in heavyweight boxing. He would have if Anthony Joshua doesn't jab him. We saw Anthony Joshua have problems with Povetkin and old Povetkin. You mean to tell me Rocky Marciano wouldn't have been able to hurt Anthony Joshua? Rocky Marciano was underrated, and he's very underrated. He was 28, and Joe Louis was 37, aka 175 years old. Rocky Marciano, let me tell you something. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, nah, man. Listen. We're not gonna disrespect. Listen, I'm a Joe Louis fan. I can tell you this. I don't like to get into who's the best fighter of all time. But when it comes to weight classes, we can have that discussion all day. I think Joe Louis was the best heavyweight of all time. But you're not gonna sit here and disrespect Rocky Marciano because people always want to discredit him and say, "Oh, well, he didn't fight nobody. He beat all these guys like when they were all like Walcott and Archie Moore and Joe Louis." And you know what? Even if I give that to you, freaking people never talk about the fact that Joe Louis was the betting favorite going into that fight. He was a 7-5 betting favorite when he fought Rocky Marciano. Joe Louis to get that fight beat Lee Savold. Lee Savold was one of the top contenders in the heavyweight division at that time. So that's how he got the fight. Joe Louis didn't just get cherry-picked for a fight Rocky Marciano. He actually beat Lee Savold, who was another top contender at the time, to get that fight Rocky Marciano. And then he was betting favorite, and Rocky Marciano knocked him out. So I think to discredit Rocky Marciano and use people's ages to try to discredit what he did, it's what we call revisionist history. It's revisionist history. You know, you don't look at you're not looking at it in context. When he was a contender, when Rocky Marciano was a contender, he fought one of the toughest heavyweight contenders of that time. He fought Rex Lane, a fighter by the name of Rex Lane. Rex Lane beat Ezra Charles. Rex Lane beat tons of good fighters. I believe Rex Lane even beat Bob Satterfield, who was another good contender at that time. Rocky Marciano beat the living shit out of Rex Lane. He fought Harry Kid Matthews, who was, I believe, a light heavyweight champion at 175. Harry Kid Matthews moved up to heavyweight, and a lot of people thought Rocky Marciano was going to struggle in that fight. And Rocky Marciano decapitated Harry Kid Matthews. So I don't want to hear about you guys disrespecting Rocky Marciano. You need to stay off that cocaine before you get knocked the fuck out. Speaking on the Charlo name, Team Lions only. Well, I like Jermell. Listen, I like Jermell. All respect goes out to Jermell Charlo, the real Charlo, the Charlo that's proven himself. But Jamal is the most overrated, protected champion in all boxing. And I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm gonna say what I want to say. So, you know, if you got a problem with it, well, just keep talking. Keep running your mouth. The way Jermell said, keep running your mouth. My guy BT be clowning on these trolls. Fuck these trolls. Yeah, man. Listen, man. These trolls. I'm a nice guy. I love everybody. I respect everybody. But if you come at me sideways, you're going to bring the demon out of me. I'm going to come at you sideways right back. Worse. Shout out to my guy Freddie Box Talk 101. He says, I miss your take on it, BT. I'm assuming we talking Usyk versus AJ. Who do you got? I got AJ. I got AJ by UD. He says, we'll see you. Okay, cool. Cool. If you want, you can hit me on Instagram. You can hit me on Instagram if you want. We'll see you, clown. I was at the fight. I was at the last Charlo fight. I didn't see you there. I was ringside. I was right there, champ. I was right there ringside. I was there to support my boy Angelo Leo. So I was right there. Jermell, I got all this respect for Jermell. I think he's actually one of my favorite fighters. But Jamal, I used to be a big fan of his, but the way he's ducking Demetrius Andrade and the way he don't want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade, I gotta call a spade a spade. Now if he fights him, all respect to him. I'll put all the respect back on his name, but he's gotta get it together. Team Lions only. Gotta get it together. I like Jamal, but he's gotta get it together. When we talk about bad management, the undisputed crown goes to Scotty Bulldog Olsen. He was entertaining as hell. Scotty Bulldog. See, I'm not gonna lie to you, champ. Shout out to you, man. You went way over my head. Never heard of him. So you might need to educate me. You might need to educate me, champ. That's good though. I don't know if these people are actually from Team Charlo, but that's good. We got people from Team Charlo here. So True School Sports making waves, man. We got random members of Team Charlo going crazy, saying, "Oh, he's saying mean things. He's saying mean things about Jamal." Well, then tell Jamal to fight Demetrius Andrade. Listen. Tell Demetrius Andrade. Tell Jamal to fight. If you know Jamal, tell him to fight Demetrius Andrade, and I'll shut the fuck up. I will shut right up. The same things I say about Canelo, I'll say it to Jamal. I'll say about Jamal. Fight Demetrius. You don't even gotta beat him. You step in the ring with him, you get my respect. Simple as that. And if not him, fight what's his name? Well, he can't fight Golovkin. Golovkin's fighting what's his name? Golovkin's gonna fight Murata. So that fight can happen. But fight Demetrius Andrade. But why can't he fight him? Can you're part of Team Lions only? Explain to me, why can't that fight happen? Kevin Fuentes, he says, you're a cornball, my nigga. Let's meet up and fight. I'm in South Florida right now. Nah, I don't hang out with bums. I don't hang out with bums, champ. And if I'm a cornball and you came to my channel and you talking to me, thank you. You gave me a view. You just contributed to the further success of True School Sports. If you hate someone, why do you watch them? Because I'll tell you this, all these channels you guys talk about in my comment section, I don't watch these fucking channels, ever. I'd never watch them unless somebody tells me, hey, BT, they said this in a video, and somebody sends me a video. But other than that, I don't watch these channels. So if you come to my channel and you don't like me, all you're doing is just continuing the progression of my channel. So Kevin, Team Lions only. Thank you guys. God bless. I love you guys. You're beautiful people. Boo Boo ain't fought nobody. Fuck Boo Boo. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Montiel didn't fight nobody. Perfect. So it should be perfect. So if he hasn't fought nobody and he's a nobody, then Jamal should just treat him like Hugo Centeno. He'll knock him out like Hugo Centeno. He'll beat him easy the way he beat Dennis Hogan. It'll be an easy fight. Why not? Maul is right here, clown. We listening to your corny ass talk shit here while we sit here and watch college football. Who you guys watching? What game you watching? You watching Miami? Is Miami playing? Who's playing right now? Jamal's right here. Okay, well look, I like Jamal, but you gotta get it together, champ. You gotta get it together. Fight Demetrius Andrade. Ask Maul if Jamal Charlo is actually there with you. Ask Jamal Charlo why can't he fight Boo Boo? You know, he's a middleweight champion. Boo Boo's a middleweight champion. They're both talented fighters. Wouldn't it make sense for him to fight another undefeated guy? He could beat him. Then that could lead straight to a Canelo fight. Team Lions only is a fake account. Okay, well I'm gonna assume that it's not, and I'm gonna take him at his word because I don't know. I'm not there. Shakur Marriott, shout out to him. Jamal's a bum. Tell everyone at middleweight to fight Demetrius. Yeah, everyone at middleweight fight Demetrius Andrade. All of you guys. All of you guys. Talk to Al Heyman. Maul will fight anybody. Well, you got his number? If you got his number, you could DM me on Instagram at Just a Kid from Dania. If you got his number, I'd love to talk to Al Heyman because I never seen him. I never heard him. I know he's real because I have confirmed through the grapevine that like people have met him, people I know have met him. But that'd be great. But riddle me this. If you're not actually with Jamal Charlo and you're just capping, and you're just a Jamal Charlo fan, then riddle me this. Why is Jamal Charlo in the media saying that Demetrius Andrade's a horrible fighter and he'll never fight him like Canelo? Why is he saying that? Because it's one thing for Canelo to say that. Canelo Alvarez is selling 70,000 tickets at Cowboy Stadium. I was in Houston. I was ringside right there at the fight, watching Angelo Lee, my boy, fight on the undercard. You got Jamal fought in his hometown at the Toyota Center, and they had the whole tarp. The whole tarp was right over the upper deck. It wasn't no sellout. There were plenty of empty seats. So why can't he fight him? He doesn't sell enough tickets to be big time at Demetrius Andrade. Straight up, like just straight up. And mind you, I used to be a big Jamal Charlo fan. I used to like him a lot more than Jamel. I used to like him way more than Jamel. I used to think Jamal Charlo had it all to be a great middleweight. And you know what? If he gets it together and tests himself against the best people out there and shows himself to be what he says he is, then he might still be what I thought he was all those years ago. But right now, with the way he's been behaving, I can't condone him. I can't cheer for him no more because of the way he's blatantly ducking Demetrius Andrade. Boo Boo is the only one at 160 who wants big fights. How can someone hate on that? I don't know, man. And the only guys he can fight are the only guys that will sign contracts and fight him. So right now, it sounds like either Jason Quigley or Felix Cash. Those guys are the only options. And these guys they're credible fighters. They're solid, but they're top 15. They're top 15. They're not like the box office fights, but they're guys that are ranked. Talk to Al Heyman. Oh my God, bro. Talk to Al Heyman. I would love to talk to Al Heyman. If we could set that up, I would love to see that. Because he's a horrible fighter, like Maul said. Boo Boo don't put asses in the seats. It's all politics. Hearn got y'all fooled. Hearn doesn't got me fooled. I've been following Demetrius Andrade since before he ever signed with Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn can't fool me. Nobody can fool me in boxing. I'm the untouchable. If you're new to this channel, I know when it comes to boxing and boxing knowledge, I try not to toot my own horn, but like I'm very up in my boxing. And as far as you talking about, he doesn't put asses in the seats, you can't fool me, bro. I was in Houston. Jamal don't put asses in seats. They had to section the whole tarp. They had to section the whole upper deck off. He sold, I don't know what he sold, but there were empty seats in the lower level. He wasn't moving no numbers like that in his own hometown. I'll tell you this. He may not put asses in the seats around the country, but I guarantee you, if you compare what he did in Rhode Island to what you did in Houston, I bet you he sold more tickets. I promise you that. The crowd was louder. There were more people at his fight in Rhode Island. Of course, I'm new to this channel. We got word you were speaking down on the Charlo brand, so I tapped in. No, I like the Charlo brand. I like Jermell. I like what Jermell represents because I think Jermell. I didn't like Jermell at first. I used to think Jermell Charlo was a hype job. I didn't think he was that good, because like he fought John Jackson, who wasn't really a big puncher or wasn't a big. He wasn't known for his technical boxing abilities. John Jackson was outboxing him. He found the styles later on in that fight. But Jermell Charlo, fight after fight, time and time again, he proved himself to me. And what's crazy is he went from being a fighter that I didn't like at all to becoming literally one of my top 10 favorite fighters in boxing. And for Jamal, it's the opposite. When I looked at Jermell Charlo, I saw a fighter that had all the potential to go all the way and do his thing and just maximize his potential. But he's hurting himself. He's hurting himself. I think Jamal has the tools to really go far and do some great things, but nah, man. Now, the Charlo brand is both brothers, and I've enjoyed both brothers' fights, but I'm not going to sit here and bite my tongue and massage your earlobes. You might think I'm hating, but at the end of the day, I want to see Demetrius Andrade, who's an undefeated American world champion, fight another fellow undefeated American world champion. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Like, I don't understand. Tell me what's wrong with that. And if this is Jamal Charlo, which I doubt it is, I doubt that this account has any real connection to Jamal Charlo. But if it does, DM me on Instagram, just a kid from Dania. You can find my Instagram in my about section on this channel, and I'm easy to find. I'm very easy to find when it comes to social media and things like that. But I guarantee you, if Charlo and Andrade fight, people will watch that fight. The build-up will be good. You'll get good trash talk. It will be a good old-fashioned rivalry. Boxing needs rivalries. I feel like that's a good rivalry, don't you think? But hey, Team Lions only, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the home of boxing, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. You may not like me. You might think I'm a hater, and it's quite the opposite. I'm the opposite. I just want Jamal Charlo to be the best he can be, and he's not doing it. And the fact that he's in the media, you can say talk to Al Heyman, but his actions in the media, from what I can see, it don't look like he wants to fight. He's saying like he's a horrible fighter, which is not true. How was a guy that was a 2008 U.S. Olympian, a guy that was 2008 U.S. Olympian, world amateur champion, 2-division world champion, undefeated, barely ever had any close fights in his career? How is that guy horrible? Jamal Charlo wasn't an Olympian. He didn't win. He didn't win no. He wasn't no amateur champion. Hearn ain't trying to make these fights like you guys think. Maul will fight anybody. Maul's goal is to be unified at 160. Okay, so riddle me this: How is he going to be undisputed at 160? Right? If he's not going to fight Demetrius Andrade, is there some sort of plan in place that you know about that I don't know about? To where Demetrius Andrade will go to PBC, will he sign with Al Heyman? Like, because that's the only way that fight happens. And then how is he going to fight Golovkin in Murata? Because they're going to fight in December. It just doesn't make any sense. Because from the outside looking in, I know if you're really connected to Jamal, because I don't think you're actually really affiliated with Jamal Charlo. I think you're captain. But if you are, it might look one way. I know when you're involved with a fighter in a fighter's day-to-day life, it looks different when you're inside and things like that. But I'm speaking as a fan, speaking as somebody who covers the sport. I've covered it for many, many years. I'm not new to boxing. I've been around boxing for a long, long time. I actually met Jamal once. I met Jamal once in 2017. I met him at 2017 at the Hialeah Park Racetrack and Casino. He was nice. I have no problems with him as a person, but Jamal Charlo as a fighter, he needs to tighten up. He got to tighten up, bro. And then Hyro, like Hyro says, Jamal makes dumb requests like Demetrius Andrade has to fight Montiel. Yo, who the fuck is Montiel? I remember that. Who the fuck's Montiel? Montiel hasn't done anything in boxing but beat old shot James Kirkland. That's like how would you guys feel? Demetrius Andrade came out and said, "Oh well, I'm not gonna fight Jamal Charlo until you beat Liam Williams." Y'all would say, "Who the fuck's Liam Williams?" And I would say, "Yeah, I agree. Who the fuck's Liam Williams?" And I would say, "You guys should fight each other." So I'm keeping that same energy both ways. Shakur says, Team Lions only. You're fucking dumb. Just because he can't put ass in the seat doesn't mean he's a horrible fighter. Jamal could have fought Benavidez, but he fought one TL and he was losing and got fucked up. Well, I don't know about all that. I think he might have lost a round or two. I thought he might have lost a round or two, but I thought he won the fight pretty convincingly. But there were pockets of that fight where Jamal was getting touched up. Who has Boo Boo Andrade fought? Tell me that. He's who he's fought. I'm gonna tell you who he's fought. He's fought whoever has been willing to get in the ring with him, and every time that's happened, he's won all 32 times. That's who he's fought. I know you're gonna say Derevyanchenko before if I ask this question, even though Derevyanchenko has been beaten up by everybody before he got to Jamal. But Jamal, if we're being honest, Jamal's whole run at 160, apart from Derevyanchenko, has been whack. It's been whack. Who has he fought? Hugo Centeno. He cherry-picked Dennis Hogan. At least Demetrius Andrade's fighting guys in his actual weight class, and he didn't cherry-pick Dennis Hogan up from 154. Like, come on, man. Like, look, I just want to see the fight happen. Who gives a fuck who Andrade fought? Who gives a fuck who Charlo fought? At the end of the day, a resume doesn't win a fight. Skills win fights. So if Jamal has the skills, I'm pretty sure you think Jamal has skills. I mean, I think you would agree with that. I think Jamal has skills. If you think his skills are good enough to fight Andrade and to beat him, make the shit happen. Make it happen. You don't look like he doesn't look good. I'm just telling you, he don't look good talking about we black carded him. Fuck Andrade. I've seen it all. We black card him. Fuck Andrade. He's a horrible fighter. They don't got no real niggas in Rhode Island. I heard it all. I've heard it all. I heard it all. Yeah, man. From 154 to 160, Maul fighting the best. Andrade didn't do shit from 154 to 160. He was a world champion in both weight classes. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Doesn't matter what you think about his resume. There's like how many fighters in boxing? There's like hundreds of fighters in boxing. There's 4 world titles every weight class. You can't be talking that undisputed talk and then say you don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade, because the reality is this: he's an elite fighter. No matter whether you agree with it or not, he is an elite fighter, and you can't sit here and talk undisputed talk and not talk Demetrius Andrade if you're at 160. It's just the reality. Now you can pray on his downfall and hope he loses. I'm sure if Felix Cash or Jason Quigley take care of him, you'll go ahead and fight him. I guarantee it. Oh my God. Team Lions only asked, does he got a belt now? Yes. He's the WBO middleweight champion. Don't y'all want to be undisputed? Aren't y'all about making the best fights happen? Don't y'all want to make millions of dollars and be the biggest stars you could possibly be? Well, look, the way you do that is by fighting the best fighters out there. Listen, man, if this is really connected to if this account is really connected to Jamal Charlo, have that man get in touch with me. I'll love to interview him. And I'll be fair. I won't disrespect. I'll be fair. I want to know, why is it so difficult? And if Eddie Hearn doesn't want to make the fights, which I don't doubt that, because Eddie Hearn, he's got his things about him. What specifically is Eddie Hearn told you guys? What has he done, or what has he told you guys about the fight and negotiations? He's a WBO middleweight champion. Why are you LOLing? He's the WBO middleweight champion. Oh my God, bro. I listen, as style wise, I like Jamal, but the way he's acting right now, he's becoming one of the most overrated champions in boxing. He is, because it's been a long time since he's done anything at 160. Derevyanchenko was cool, was a good win, but he already lost to Golovkin in a ridiculously grueling war. When I want to see these guys have. Listen, you know how much credit I'm gonna give Jamal Charlo if he just gets in the ring with Boo Boo Andrade. Like, I know I don't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's all about making money and all that stuff. But like, you know how much credit? Do you know how many people would love Jamal Charlo if he knocked out Demetrius Andrade? Do you know how many Canelo fans hate Demetrius Andrade? Jamal Charlo might fuck around and get a Canelo fight if he knocks out Demetrius Andrade. I promise you. Because Canelo hates Demetrius Andrade. His fans hate Demetrius Andrade. So if you knock him out, you're going to be right there. You're gonna be right there, champ. Remember when they made sure Boo Boo wasn't on screen when GGG beat Derek? I remember that. I do remember that. It's out of the boxer's hands. They send the contracts and the money to fight. Hold on. It's out of the boxer's hands. They send the contracts and the money right. It's getting signed. Hearn be lying. He's not trying to make the fight at all. We highly doubt he'll fight GGG. Well, I don't think. Listen, I don't think he'll fight GGG either. But I think that's more of a GGG issue because I think GGG's been kind of lazy ever since he lost to Canelo, and his whole career revolves around Canelo. So I think he's kind of praying that Canelo picks him and he gets that Canelo stimulus check. But it's not gonna happen for him. So look. I know that it's out of the boxer's hands. I understand that. I understand it's a business. But at the same time, and this is just as someone who was once a big fan of Jamal Charlo, okay, freaking, he's not doing himself any favors fanning the flames, fanning the flames of saying that we black carded him. He's a horrible fighter, all these things, because it makes him look like he doesn't want to fight. So the best thing he could say in the media, like next time he does an interview, he should just say like, "Look, man, I'd love for that fight to happen, but politically, there's some things that just aren't lining up on his side and my side, and the fight won't happen until both sides come to an agreement." If he said that, I can't hate on Charlo. I can't hate on Charlo, and I'll be watching his next fight with a lot of interest. Name all the other middleweight champions right now, please. Okay, the WBC champion is Golovkin. The WBA champion is Murata, right? Is it Murata? No. WBC champion is Charlo. WBO is Boo Boo. WBA is Murata, and I think the IBF is Golovkin. I think those are the champions. So yeah, those are the champions. Those are his options. So Boo Boo, Murata, or Golovkin. But he can't fight Murata or Golovkin because Murata and Golovkin are going to fight each other. They're going to fight at the end of this year. So the only available champion that doesn't have a fight booked right now is Demetrius Andrade. And listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Eddie Hearn. I have my things with Eddie Hearn. I've interacted with him. I know he's not the easiest guy to deal with, but come on, man. Like I know Eddie Hearn would like to make I think Eddie Hearn will make that fight happen. I feel like if Jamal and Boo Boo both have reasonable demands, that the fight will happen. Maul beats them all, BT. Stop it, homie. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You need more people. You need more people, champ. Like I respect Jamal, and listen. I want to see Jamal fight Demetrius Andrade. I feel like that would be a good test of his boxing skills, of his ability to control the range. He's got a great jab. I want to see him in there with a good slick southpaw like Demetrius Andrade. What's wrong with that, champ? What's wrong with that? If they make the fight, Jamal's taking it. Well, just look. If he's there, because you say you guys are eating chips and singing "Kumbaya" and watching college football. If he's there, hopefully he can hear me. Jamal, please, for the love of God, like just stop saying what you're saying in the media because it's reflecting very bad on you. Just say that politically the fight can't happen right now. Boo Boo versus Charlo 2022. We promise. Okay, I fuck with that. Hey, if that's the plan, I'm all with that. I'm all with that because I want to see that fight. Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade are two undefeated, talented fighters, and I feel like these are the kind of fights that should be happening in boxing. So make it happen, man. Make it happen. But look, if again, like I say again, if this is connected to Jamal Charlo and his account, I'm very easy to find on Instagram. It's in my. You can find me on Instagram. Hit me up, man. I'll love to talk to you guys and get some more understanding. And I'll be fair with you. I'm not gonna hate on you, but I'm gonna ask you the real questions. So I'm not gonna hate on you, but I'm gonna ask you the real questions as well. If he fights GGG and wins, Maul is gonna fight him next. Talking about he's talking about Dimitri Boo Boo. Boo Boo's not gonna fight Golovkin. Golovkin's gonna fight the Japanese fighter Ryota Murata. They're gonna fight in Japan, probably in December. That's the fight that they're looking at right now. Boo Boo don't gotta fight. Boo Boo can't get fights. So the only guys he can fight are these guys in the top 15, like Jason Quigley. I don't know if you heard of him. Felix Cash. But I'm gonna hold him to it. I'm gonna hold him to it. I'll stop my verbal onslaught on Jamal. I'll take you for your word because I know in Texas, being a man of your word is a big thing. So I'll take you for your word, and hopefully after Boo Boo wins his fight, whenever he fights later on this year, yeah, yeah, they were talking about it. They were talking about that. They were talking about that GGG fight. They were talking about that GGG fight. The zone was putting pressure on that fight to happen, but now they're saying something else. Now they're saying it's gonna be freaking Murata or for Golovkin, and Boo Boo will be fighting either Quigley or Felix Cash. So, hopefully, if that's what it's going to take for Demetrius Andrade to get the Charlo fight, then that's the fight I want to see because I want to see just how good Jamal Charlo is. Now, 154, I can't hate on Jamal. He was a great fighter at 154. His uppercut against Julian Williams was one of the best counter uppercuts you're ever going to see. But his run at 160 has been very mediocre to say the least. And listen, I'm not giving Demetrius Andrade a pass. He hasn't fought the creme de la creme best fighters either, but he hasn't been afforded the option to fight these guys. And from the optics, from the way it looks, from a fan and media point of view, it looks like Jamal don't want the fight. Oh man, just tell them all. Listen, man, ask Maul. Just answer my respond to this. Respond to this. Ask Maul if one of these days, it don't gotta be right now, it could be another date. Tell Maul to get in touch with me. He could email me. He could get in touch with me on Instagram. I would love to interview him, and I want to ask him. I want to ask him these questions. I want to know from him from the source itself. If you're not capping, because I feel like you're capping, man. I really do. Boo Boo was only good in the amateurs. You can't say that. You can't say he was only good in the amateurs. He's a 2-division champion. Anybody who wins a world title, a multiple weight class, you can't say they were only good in the amateurs. Because I'll tell you this, I know fighters that were only good in the amateurs, and he don't qualify as that. Audley Harrison, he was a fighter who was only good in the amateurs. Hyrule says that Jamal's fight with Cornelius, K9, and Bundridge was the best. BT, tell them the truth. I mean, I don't think that. It was a cool fight, but I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, Hyro, long time subscriber. He's a big fan of that fight. He's a big fan of that fight. Yeah, man, it's the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Apparently, we got somebody from Team Charlo in the comments. I don't believe it. I feel like it's a fake account, but I'll take him for his word. If it's really somebody from Team Charlo, all they gotta do is just hit me on Instagram. I'm very easy to find on Instagram. Just a kid from Dania. It's in my about section on my YouTube page. You'll see the little Instagram icon. Click on that. It'll take you right to my profile. You DM me. You could DM me or have Jamal DM me himself. I got no problem either way. But that's the fight. That's the fight we need to see happen. Shout out to Team Charlo. They part of the untouchable. There you go. Hyro. There it is right there. If Jamal Charlo wants to come on and talk boxing at any point in time, he can follow me right there. And listen, if any of you out there are on Instagram, hit me on Instagram. I'm always on there. I'm always on Instagram. I'm always ready to talk and interact with people about boxing. I love boxing. I love this sport. But I'm sick and tired of these fights not happening because people say, "Oh, well, he's not making the fight." They want to point the finger. Nah, man. You can't be saying Eddie Hearn don't want the fight, but then you're the one in the media saying, "Oh, he got to fight Montiel and he got to do this, he got to do that." Nah, man. I got you. Pound for pound. I got you, champ. Hold on. Oh shit, what happened? Hold on. I'll rent you up later on because for some reason MB, I don't know why. I don't know why it's not letting me do it on the stream yet. So I'll do it soon. Just remind me. It's not a fake account. We got word that you was talking down on Jamal. So I made this just to come on so we can hear it. Okay, well I'm here. You any listen, I like Jamal. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I like him as a fighter. I like his style, but I've been very frustrated with him lately as a fighter because I feel like he's got a lot of potential and he's throwing it away. Everyone's saying all this stuff about how he's a horrible fighter. It left the sour taste in my mouth. So if y'all have the intentions of fighting him in 2022, then can Jamal come out and say that? Like, can we get Jamal on the channel? Answer my question, yes or no? Can we get Jamal to come on the channel and answer that question? I'll talk to him about other things. I'd like to learn more about his life and his career and other things, because I know he didn't come up the easy way, you know, when he was early in his career. But like, I want to hear from the man himself. Like, I want to hear from the man himself. I'm not gonna be like rude. I'm gonna be respectful. I'll give him a fair interview. Like, it's funny. A lot of you, it's funny. You guys are here saying that I'm talking down on the Charlo name, which is true. I have made some videos and I've said some things about Jamal Charlo. I'm not gonna hide that. I'll stand on what I said. I think right now, because of the way Jamal Charlo's acting, I classify him as the most overrated champion in boxing, because he's content to fight the Montiels and the Brandon Adams of the world and whatnot. You know, and that's cool. That's cool. But like, with Jamal, whoever told you that I was talking down on the Charlo name, they probably didn't tell you that when he fought Matthew Korobov and he was getting fried by every YouTube channel. Like, a lot of people here on YouTube were talking a lot of shit about Jamal Charlo when he lost Matthew Korobov. But do you know who was actually saying that the Matthew Korobov fight was a good fight for him and that he won and that it was good experience for him? It was me. So I'm fair. I'm fair, but I'm firm. I'm fair, but I'm firm. The twins don't like doing interviews like that. That's not true. Maybe you're right. Who knows? But either way, you can't get mad and stomp your feet and come to the channel and then I'm asking you. I'm begging you. I'm literally begging you. It don't gotta be today. In fact, it'd be better if it was not today. But like, just like, I'm begging you, like, let's get Jamal on the channel and let's just get to the bottom of why this fight can't happen. Like I want to hear from himself. You know, I'm actually genuinely interested in hearing why the fight can't happen. I don't want to hear that Demetrius Andre's a horrible fighter, because it's not true. It's not true. Anybody who says that doesn't watch boxing. He says, we not mad. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm not mad either. It might look like I'm mad in the videos when I get passionate and I start talking my shit, but like, at the end of the day, I'm just somebody who really loves this sport, who really loves boxing. If you don't know me and this is your first time getting to know me, I'm somebody that's dedicated my entire life to boxing. I've lost a lot of things over covering the sport of boxing, and I'm sure the people that are here right now watching this live, they can vouch for me. They can tell you, hey, BT's a solid guy. He loves this sport, and I'm not gonna do Jamal wrong if I ever interview him. I'm not like a lot of these people, but I would love to see Boo Boo fight Eubank. That'd be a good fight if he can't get no fights. Korobov was his hardest fight at 160. He said that. Yeah, well, it was a tough fight for him. He fought Korobov on short notice. Korobov has a lot of experience. You know, Korobov, as an amateur, was highly decorated. Not an easy guy to fight, a southpaw on short notice. So I actually thought Jamal showed a lot of maturity in that fight, and I thought it was a good win for him. But if you would have seen these videos on YouTube, people were, oh my God, people were calling him a hype job and all these things. I'm like, nah, man, it was a good win, and they don't want to hear all that. So yeah, hit me on the IG, and that would be absolutely delightful. I love that, and you know, next time I'm in H Town, I'll come say what's up to you guys. I went to H Town. I went to H Town for the first time for his fight, and I had a lovely time. I think Houston's a beautiful city, and I want to go back. Preferably, I want to see Jamal Charlo get some big fights and give me a reason to go back to H Town. You know, get my boy Angel Leo on the undercard again, and I'll have all the reason to go back to H Town. You know, I had a great time at H Town. Shout out to my man, the Texan, with the $5 super chat. He says, "Keep doing your thing, BT." I like the alcohol to a wound. Canelo is gonna feel the pressure collapse on him. Fans are already thinking false realities, and I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate what's happening with Canelo. We want boxing to you know, look, either A, let these fighters all take PEDs, or get strict and actually treat everybody the same. And you know, boxing be in a better place. I know it's a lot easier said than done, because I know in boxing there's a lot of dirty people with their own agendas. I get it. But yeah, man, I appreciate the comment. Hopefully we get I like this, man. Team Lions only says, if your boy Boo will do an interview for you, I'll make sure you get an interview with both twins. Okay, perfect. That'd be great. I can make the interview happen very easily because I'm really cool with his dad. I talk to his dad all the time. His dad, well, not all the time, but I talk to him here and there. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks, but I'll make sure I get it. I get it. And you know what? Let's do this. I got a better idea. I appreciate that as well. You know, if you want to make the interview happen, that'd be great. I appreciate whatever you want to do. But if the fight actually becomes a reality and you guys get it signed, then let's get Boo Boo and Charlo on the channel simultaneously. Let's get them both at the same time. If this is actually somebody that's connected to the Charlo account, if it is, which I'm gonna take your word for it because I have no reason to believe that it's not. If it is, then if the fight ever gets signed, we'll get both of them on the channel, and that'd be crazy. That'd be a great fight, and that's a fight that we need to happen in boxing. It's not just a fight that I want to see because I want to see. I personally don't care if I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a bigger fan of Boo Boo than I am Jamal, but I like Jamal as well. If Jamal knocks out Boo Boo Andrade, I'm not gonna sit here and be sad and sulk. I'm gonna say, hey, you know what, Jamal Charlo, he's definitely all that in a bag of chips, and you know, everything I said back in the past, I retract it, I hone myself, and give that man his flowers. He says that Jamel won the fight against Castaño. I thought it was a close fight. I personally thought that Castaño just barely nicked the fight. I scored it 116-112, 8 rounds to 4. But when you consider that he was hurt and Jamal came on strong, there were some swing rounds, so I could see a draw. I could see 7-5, but I thought Castaño did more than enough to win the fight. You know? Shakur says, Team Lions only, make sure that you're a man of your word. Okay. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, man, I'm not going to lie. If this is actually part of Charlo's team, they're right with me. They seem pretty cool to me. You know, they seem pretty cool. You know, hopefully it's not a troll account. They say they're not. So when I get off this live, I'm gonna go on my Instagram. I'm gonna pray to. I'm gonna be looking at my DMs. I'll be waiting for your DM. BT, if you get the Boo Boo interview, do a live interview. Please let us know ahead of time. We need to tell Boo Boo to go to Canelo and GGG and press conferences, keep the pressure up. Absolutely. I'm gonna do that soon. I'm thinking like, because right now I'm not really trying to do interviews right now. Middle of the month, like the middle of the month, we'll look to go get back to doing the interviews and showing the world why we're the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Why we've been doing the best boxing interviews on YouTube for not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not 4 years, not 5 years. We going on year number 6 right now. So we doing our damn thing. We doing our damn thing. Hyro's dropping it right there. So like Hyro's making it very easy and accessible for the Lions, for Team Lions only. I'm right there, straight like that. Click that link. You'll find me on Instagram. Hey, shout out to everybody here, man. I came here. I thought I almost didn't even want to come live today, but you know, I told myself I was gonna go live every day of this month. So far, we're 3 days in. We haven't broken that promise. I didn't think the live was gonna be this lit today, but I really enjoyed it. So, you know, we argued with some Canelo fans. You know, we was wearing the crown earlier. We got people from the Charlo team apparently here. So it's not a bad day. It's not a bad day at all. Man. But yeah, when I start getting these interviews again, I'm definitely gonna let y'all know who I get on the channel. Boo Boo is definitely one of the first interviews I want to get, and it's not a hard interview for me to get. I just gotta press for it and I gotta get this new. I gotta buy a new computer soon. That's actually what I'm waiting for. When I get this new computer, we going straight to the interviews. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail and whatnot. All right. Team Lions only. Shout out to the fine folks at Team Lions only. He says, the twins want to fight the best. It's a lot more PBC fighters for Mel to fight at 154 than Maul at 160. It's really all politics. Y'all don't know how the back end of this corruption we call boxing. Maybe the people in the chat don't, but I do. I have a friend I have a very close friend who fought on Jamal's card, Jamal's last undercard, which is Angelo Leo, and I've got probably about 5 or 6 friends who are professional fighters, and I hear about all the stuff that goes on in boxing. You know, I know quite a few people in the back end of boxing. I know it's very corrupt. I know it's very smoke and mirrors. So when you tell me things like Eddie Hearn might not want to make the fight, I don't even that doesn't even sound crazy to me, because I know that boxing and things aren't what they seem. But I'm just telling you, as from what I can see, it looks like Jamal doesn't want the fight because of how he's acting. Now, if he just came out and said the politics won't make the fight happen, I would just say, hey, I'm with all that. That's cool. I get it. But I definitely know. In fact, I damn near quit YouTube like 2 months. I damn near quit covering boxing altogether because I was so disgusted with some things I learned in boxing recently. So trust me, I know. Ryan, Ryan Gosling, shout out to him. He says, these busters try to run off of me. I got him with the quick left and the quick right. Like pop, pop, pop. People are crazy. People are crazy, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm watching the Dodger game and chatting on this. Yes. Hey, shout out to the Dodgers, man. They're having a much better season than my sorry ass Marlins. Fucking Marlins, trash. Hopefully next year we get it together. They'll boast about making them fights, but it's all smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I feel like honestly, I feel like it's both. I feel like it's both sides. I feel like PBC does it a lot, and I feel like Matchroom does it a lot. I feel like everybody in boxing is guilty of it. I don't think nobody's innocent. No promotional company's innocent. I think Top Rank's done it plenty of times. PBC's done it. And Matchroom's done it. You know, I don't play favorites when it comes to promotional companies. I think there's good things and bad things about all of them. What are my early thoughts on Jaron Ennis versus Thomas Delorme? Early predictions. I think it's a good fight. It's unfortunate because we want Boots to get those fights to really show. We want Boots to show his quality. We want Boots to show like just how good he is. We all know he's very skilled, but he hasn't been able to get those fights that people need to see for him for them to validate his skills. But as far as Delorme, Delorme is a hard puncher, but he's chinny and he's there to be hit. So I feel like this could be a fight that if Jaron Ennis decides to push the pace early, I think he could very well stop him in the first 7 rounds. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he stops him before the seventh round. Absolutely. He says you right 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm fair, man. I'm not here to hate on nobody. I just want to see these good fights. Hyro, shout out to Hyro. He says, "Man, this is a good live. This reminds me of Raekwon Bell. Oh man, Raekwon Bell. Don't bring him up. Don't bring him up. He might come. He might come out the blue. Raekwon Bell. Who are you talking about? And if he moves up to 154, Jamel will whoop his ass. I want to see that fight, man. Hey, that's one fight I do want to see because I do know him and Crawford and Jamel talk a lot. And I'm gonna say this, man. I think Terrence Crawford's a special fighter. I think he's one of the best fighters out there. But I also think Jamel Charlo is a dangerous freaking fighter. So, Crawford can't get touched against Jamel the way he got touched against like Kavaluskas. So that fight's very good. I hope one day that fight can happen. And what a fight! If Jamel could win that fight, if Jamel fought Crawford and was able to knock him out, oh my God, what a fight! What a win that would be! What a win that would be for Jamel. And I think that'd be another good fight for boxing. We want to see. You know what? That's what we need to do. If there's a way we can make this happen, where we can get like Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo, and then get like Jermell and Crawford all in the same card, that would be something special. I doubt it'll happen, but it's an idea. Shout out to everybody here, man. I've been going 2.5 hours strong, just talking aimlessly, having fun, freaking talking to everybody. We it's a great live. Yup, and damn, Gary Russell is just what the fuck is going on with Gary Russell? Gary Russell, man, Gary Russell, talented guy, but we'll see, man. He's not active. He's not active, and I don't know why he's not active, but he's just not active. He fights once a year. We don't see him for like 20 months, and then he comes back 20 months later, and then he fights and looks spectacular, and then repeat it. It's a really annoying cycle. We want to see more Gary Russell Jr. We'll be announcing Jamal's next opponent very soon. Okay, we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing who it is. Hopefully, it's someone solid, someone good, someone that's going to give a good fight. Someone better than Montiel, because Montiel was tough. I give him credit. Montiel was tough. He was no pushover. He was there to win, but he was awkward too. But Montiel, He's not an upper echelon fighter. So I want to see someone in that top 5. What about Jamal versus Eubank? That'd be a good fight. Team Lions only. What about Mel? Who he fighting? Now look, I know they got their plans for Jamel. I personally think Jamel's gonna fight as mandatory. I don't think the Castano rematch is gonna happen. I think Jamel's gonna fight as mandatory. That guy, Burke Tom Murtaladziev, the guy with the weird name. I think he's gonna fight him, and then I think Castano will fight Tim Tszyu. That's what I think is gonna happen. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Ennis looks good, but he's got 0 wins. I've seen people pick him versus top guys at 160 and also have him on their top list. Hey, yeah, no, hey, listen. When it comes to the eye test, ain't nobody in boxing passing the eye test like Jerron Ennis. So we gotta see him in there with them top guys. We'll see, man. Team Lions only says it will be possibly a rematch or a mandatory. Okay, shout out to Mel. I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna fight as mandatory. He's gonna fight Murtaladziev, and then Tim Castano's gonna fight his mandatory Tim Tszyu. That's what I think. The Russell Bros are inactive because they fear being punch drunk or having severe injuries due to boxing. Actually, said one of them. Well, hey man, look, boxing's a really really brutal game, and you gotta count the cost. When you pick up them gloves and you decide to become a pro, you gotta count the cost. So like, I feel like either you gotta go in all the way and try to have that ambition to prove that you're one of the best fighters out there, and fight as much as you can, or B, just retire, because there's no sense in half-assing a boxing career. You know, when you're a kid, right? When you're a kid and you put the boxing gloves on, you dream of being the best fighter out there, being the best fighter of the world, being recognized as that top guy. And then I know once fighters turn pro and they learn the politics of boxing, it kind of makes them go cold towards the sport, and they realize it's only about making it. The main thing is making money. It's prize fighting, so the prize fight comes first. So I understand that, but you still want to have a great career. You still want to be recognized as a great fighter, and you want all that hard work in the gym to pay off. You want all that hard training in the gym to pay off. So, either go for the gusto or retire, because there's no sense in half-assing a professional boxing career. But that's just my perspective. I think Ennis beats. Ooh, my man, Chef Red Forest says I think Ennis beats Jamel right now, and Boots was talking about moving up. Hey, we'll see, man. We gotta see what he can do at 147. How are we gonna talk about 54 when we haven't even seen what he can do at 47 yet? I respect it. I think Boots will have a chance to scale weight classes and be a multiple division champion. But oh my God, what a fight that would be! Jamel Charlo makes any fight exciting. So I would get excited to watch a fight. I'm a big fan of Mr. Keep Running Your Mouth. Mel and Crawford at a catch weight is possible too. Yeah, it is. It is possible. Do you think? No, I know you're probably gonna say yeah, but do you think Mel would be willing to come down for a catch weight? What do you think? Nah, BT. Mel's gonna fight Tony Harrison 3. He might want it now. Oh man, listen. I know Mel might not want to fight Tony Harrison, and truthfully, being honest, like, I like Tony Harrison, but like, judging off Tony Harris's last performance, he looked like shit against Brian Perella. A fight he was supposed to look like $1 million in. He got a draw. I think he got a draw. Got a draw against Brian Perella, a welterweight who moved up to 54 and didn't look good. So, I wanted to see the trilogy fight, the third fight, but right now I feel like Tony Harrison should probably get a quality win under his belt to earn the fight, because I don't think he earned it. Sad thing about boxing is that sometimes the C-level fighters make more money and have more options than the A-level fighters because they're more popular. Yeah, because they're fighting more often. Like, look at Gabe Rosado. I think he fought Jamel. Was it Jamel or Jamal? He fought one of them. Gabe Rosado has a bunch of losses, but he's exciting, and he's always in the ring, and he's been pretty active over the years, and he's fought a lot of noble people. So guess what? People want to see him fight. He gives a good show. People want to see him fight again. And he's made some good money. He's even landed he was even able to get in Creed. So how many boxers get a damn movie? Get in the movie like that? So I fully agree with you. I fully agree. Yeah. Pam Maroon says, BT, you're showing your toughness, smarts, and wisdom tonight. I appreciate it, champ. I ain't doing anything but just being myself, man. Like, a lot of people, they watch my videos sometimes, and especially in boxing, this like, if this account is actually associated with the Charlos, which I think it is, because I gotta take his word, because there's no reason for me to think otherwise. This isn't the first time a PBC fighter or his team have come to my channel, and they've had preconceived notions about me, and then they talk to me and they find out that I'm different than what they thought, because people who don't like me feed garbage in their ear. I love everybody, man. I just I really care about the sport of boxing, and I want boxing to really succeed and do well. And I understand that, in order for that to happen, the best fighters got to fight each other. The best fighters, the guys that have belts, the guys with the pretty record, the guys that everybody says are the best, got to get in the ring. So there's no excuse for Terrence Crawford not to fight Spence, or Fury not to fight Joshua, or, as we've been talking about, Charlo versus Bubu Andrade, or Canelo versus Andrade, or Canelo versus Charlo, or Canelo versus Benavidez, or Benavidez versus Charlo, and the list goes on and on and on. We want to see these fights happen. Lions Only documentary says, Team Lions Only says the Lions Only documentary is coming out in 2022. So I'll if that's, hey, I'll be on the lookout for that. MB Box Official says, I'm not convinced that Team Lions Only is really part of the team. Usually the team stays quiet about negotiations, possible fights that the public doesn't know. That's how you get fired. It's true. It's true. I haven't said nothing about negotiations. We talking boxing, and I'm giving y'all an inside scoop. We'll see, man. The best way you can put to bed my doubts and any sort of preconceived notions I have about your Team Lions Only is if you go to Instagram right now and direct message me. If you direct message me right now within the next couple minutes, and I leave the live for like a couple seconds, and I come back and check, and I see that it's a DM from his team, and I can confirm it, then I'll shut. We will cut all speculation. We will cut all speculation. Did you send that message? If you sent that message, Team Lions Only, let me know, and I will go check it right now. I'll check it right now because I'm streaming on my phone. So if you sent it, I will go check it right now. I'll check it right now, and I'll say, you know what? Hey, we got to give respect to the Charlos, because they live what they talking. It is their team. They are seeing the video. Maybe Jamal Charlo is there eating chips with you, seeing Kumbaya, watching college football. Maybe that is happening, but I don't know that. There's no way for me to confirm that unless you DM me. So if you DM me, hey, full credit. The link's right there. Wait. Oh, that's Lions Only's Instagram account. I ain't gonna check him out. You get my Instagram account. If it's really him, if it's really them, they can DM you. You get in my Instagram. But we appreciate you. If it is you, we appreciate the insights and what you're bringing to the chat. I appreciate everybody here who's bringing value and good questions, and they're challenging my opinions, and they're keeping me sharp. Because look, I don't want everybody here agreeing with me. I don't want everybody here to agree with me. That's boring. That would be boring. And there you go. Howard just dropped my Instagram account. So if you didn't get it the first time, Lions Only, there it is. Message me, and let me know when you do, and I'll go check. But I don't want people to disagree with me. I want people to challenge my opinion. I want people to challenge my thoughts, because that keeps me sharp. And every now and then, I even learn about boxing, and I love learning about boxing. I love learning about the sport. I love learning about new things and new fighters and new facts, and it's fun. It's fun to me. Some people like to do math problems. Some people like to freaking go to the club. I like to learn about boxing. Everybody has their interest in life. But yes, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, live, primetime boxing talk, random primetime boxing talk with the best subscribers in the world, the best people in the world, the untouchables, the untouchable True School Sports subscribers. What did Chef Red say? What did Chef Red say that's got my man, the Charlo team, so fired up? He said, bruh, you ain't give anybody no scoop talking about Melo at 151. He can barely make 154, right? That is kind of true. Like, he do got a point. Like Jermell, he did look he did look a little bit weight drained at that last weigh-in. I'm not gonna lie to you. BT, who's the best fighter to ever come out of New York? Listen, man, you can't ask me that question. I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna be biased as hell. I'm gonna say Riddick Bowe. But aside from Riddick Bowe, I mean, without me being biased, was Sugar Ray Robinson from New York? Because I know he lived in New York. I know he had a bunch of businesses in Harlem and stuff. New York City fighters. New York. Mark Williams from New York. Who do you guys think? What's up, Jake Paul? Let me get a fight, bro. Hey, BT, do you think you could ever catch Canelo at one of these press conferences and ask him to fight Andrade? Of course, of course. One of these days, you know. I don't think they would give me a press pass because they would go on my channel and they would just go they would see that I'm popping off. I'm popping off about Canelo. If Sugar Ray Robinson's from New York, then my answer to that question is Sugar Ray Robinson. BT, if it's actually Lions only, they could have reached out to Dante's Box Nation or Box Ego, but they chose you because you special. Because we the untouchable. Look, I'm just a guy with 20 viewers right now, but hey, we got the WBC middleweight champions team on my live, you know. So hey, shout out to me. You know what, guys? Hold on a second. I'm gonna go check my Instagram. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. All right, so I checked. The verdict is in. The verdict is in. I haven't seen any DMs from the Charlo team. I did go ahead and I just followed the Lions Only Promotions page. So if that was you, if that's truly you, send that DM. Send that DM because I didn't see it. I didn't see it, champ, but I followed you. Just a kid from Daniel. Mike Tyson. I can't get mad at Mike Tyson. My man said Danny Jacobs. He whooped cancer on itself. That yeah, hey, shout out to him, man. That's a big thing to overcome in life, and I got so much respect for the Miracle Man and what he overcame in his life. But I think people do overrate him a little bit though. I like Jacob, but I think he is a little bit overrated. But he's a good fighter though. I respect him, but he's a good fighter. So yeah, for those of you who have been here who want to know if the Charlo team has sent me any DMs, they didn't send me no DMs. I checked, I looked near, I looked far, I didn't see anything. I checked my primary messages, it wasn't there. I checked my general messages, it wasn't there. I checked my message requests, it wasn't there. So I follow the Lions Only Promotions page. We'll see if we ever hear anything from them. Let me see, man. I can't believe this. We're really getting close to we're really getting close to 3 hours on the live already. Someone in the real team would never expose that if it was possible. You never know, man. Like in boxing, sometimes people talk, so it's not far fetched. Would Andre Ward fight one of the Jake Paul brothers? One of the Paul brothers? No, I don't even think Andre will come back to fight like someone tough. Yo, Jake Paul, how many times are you going to break up with Julia Rose? Hey, man, shout out to Julia. She bad, man. I'm saying right now, Jake Paul better not ever bring Julia Rose around me. Cause I'll tell you this, he bring Julia Rose around me, he ain't gonna have Julia Rose ever again. I promise you that. I promise you that. When I was in Houston, I told Shakur the story. When I was in Houston, I told you guys the story. When I was in Houston, I damn near got my friends killed because I went to the club and I was taking everybody's girl, and I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even trying. I didn't want to be there. It's crazy. Hey BT, you're up late. You chose YouTube over the Dang It bitches tonight. What's going on? Well, I'm pretty far from Daniel right now, but as far as me being up late, I'm always up late. I just don't always go live. I don't always go live late, but I'm always up late. I'm always up late, champ. In fact, I function best when it's late at night. But I'm good. I'm good. Just enjoying talking to people about boxing and having fun and just doing my thing. Doing my thing. The true school sports way, the untouchable way. I really want to see Crawford versus Boots. Who do you got? Oh my God! Why you asking me these questions, champ? Why you asking me these questions? I feel like Crawford could beat him. I think I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to predict this fight because we don't know. We don't know like we know he's skilled, but we don't know what that chin is like. I want to see what that chin. What's that chin like? So hopefully Delome can hit him a couple times. Oh man. Oh man, Evander Holyfield, the real deal. That's my guy right there. He's stepping in for Oscar De La Hoya. He's gonna fight Vitor Belfort, and that's the real fight. That's the real champ right there. That's the real champ. Freaking Evander Holyfield. I'm glad. I thought it was cool. I think everybody was everybody talking about Oscar having COVID, but they missed the real story. And the real story is Oscar getting COVID. The real story is Evander Holyfield fighting again. So it should be fun. I'll be live for that 100% for sure. Hey BT, which is better to visit, Orlando or Miami? Oh, not even close. Miami all day. Miami all day. You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking somebody who's from South Florida. Is it better to visit Central Florida or South Florida? I'm gonna pick South Florida every time. I'm a South Florida guy, so I'm always gonna ride with South Florida every time, no matter what. I'm always gonna pick Miami. The Twins have their own promotion, dumbass. I can say what I want. If you really want me to be honest, Lions only. Okay, well, Lions only. Hit the DM. Go on Instagram. If it's really, hit the DM. Hit the DM. I follow the Lions only promotion. If that's you, I don't know if that's you on Instagram, but I followed it and hit the DM. That's really you. Hit the DM. BT, what's your height and weight, and would you fight? And what would you fight at in the ring? If I was boxing, if I decided to box for real. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a tall guy. I'm only like 5'6" ish on a great day. 5'6". I'll say 5'6", 5'6", 5'5". Walk around at about 138, 39 pounds. If I boxed for real, I'd probably be a 122, 126 pounder. I'd probably be a featherweight or super bantamweight. You know, we up and we outside. Yeah, JJ beat Jake Paul. I swear to God. Talking about KSI. Talking about KSI. BT versus Tank. Tank is pretty short. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw Tank in person, man. I knew he was short, but I didn't think he was that damn short. I found it amazing that he's going up there and he's beating these big ass guys. Let's see. Jake Paul showed that anything is possible in life. Jake Paul was an ordinary YouTuber having the greatest first half in the career boxing history. Hey man, I fuck with Jake Paul. Jake Paul. I love what he's doing for boxing. I can't hate BT. I mean, I can't hate on Jake Paul. I said BT. Yeah, Chef Fred. He said he got BT over Tank. Yeah. Hey, I respect it. Thank you, man. But like my weight class would be like Stephen Fulton, Angelo Leo, you know, what's his name? Angelo Leo, Stephen Fulton. Who's at 126? Zhu Can, them guys. But I appreciate the love and support, man. I'm starting to get into some pretty good shape actually. I've been exercising a lot. I've been going in my backyard and I've been shadow boxing for like an hour, 2 hours straight the last 4 or 5 days. So I'm a little bit of fat that I had is coming off. I can see like the fat off the little my face isn't as chubby. So we get into a good place. We get into a good place fitness wise. I'm happy. Maybe next year when I go back to Vegas, we can get some sparring in with Angelo Leo and my boy Marcos Paz and my boy Paul Bonsi and all them guys over there in Vegas. My boys. 112? Nah, man, you can't do that. 112? Not 112, champ. Not 112. I might have to go down there and beat up Sonny Edwards. I can't do that to Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards is a good guy. He's a good person. I'm 70 kilograms, so how much do I walk around in pounds? I have no clue. I have absolutely not the slightest clue how much that is in pounds. I know that it's probably more than what I weigh. Stamp this. Fulton versus Figueroa will be fight of the year. I'm glad you brought that up because I haven't even done a video about Fulton versus Figueroa yet, and we're 2 weeks away from the fight. So I got to get to work and stop talking about these PED cheats and talk about a great fight at 122. Get a couple videos out there about that because that's gonna be a great fight. I'm going with Stephen Fulton. I don't think Stephen Fulton has the. I don't think Figueroa can bring anything to the table that Fulton hasn't experienced. I think Stephen Fulton's already fought the best pressure fighter in his weight class, which was Angelo Leo, and he did pretty good against him. Yeah, no, Tank. I love what I saw from Tank. I love what I saw from Tank. It was a great fight, and credit to Mario Barrios for making that an exciting fight. Oh, so you're a tall, skinny dude, freaking Shakur. So you tall and skinny also. It's gonna be rib dinners, champ. Rib dinners. I got you, champ. I already know. I already know what your body type is. You told me yesterday you're like 6'3", 154. So you taller than me, and you're probably longer than me, but you skinny. So I'm gonna get there, chop that body up, champ. Chop that body up. Tank's last fight was BT sparred John Rio Casimiro. I haven't sparred John Rio Casimiro, but I wouldn't mind sparring him. We about the same height. I'm taller than him actually, so I love that. That'd be a good challenge. BT, have you heard of a fighter from way back in the day named Barbados Joe Walker, otherwise known as the Barbados Demon? He was like 5'3", welterweight, knocking out heavyweights. I have heard of him. I don't know much about him, but I've heard of him, and I feel like I watched a video about him one time, but I can't really tell you a whole lot about him. But I've heard the name, and I know bits and pieces about his story, so I'm familiar. But I gotta go do some more homework. But shout out to the Barbados Demon. I can't wait for PBC to get a unified champion at 122. Finally, Eddie Hearn so that Eddie Hearn doesn't brag about MJ Aquadalia. Oh my God, bro! Yes, I still can't believe for the life of me that he actually had a whole card in Uzbekistan, and equally, I can't believe he had a card in Uzbekistan, and I went live for the whole thing, start to finish. We've watched some crazy cards here on these lives on True School Sports. We can truly say we've explored boxing. We've watched like so many cards, and like next weekend's there's so many things going on in boxing. Next weekend we got Lawrence Newton, one of the best kept secrets in boxing. We got one of the best kept secrets in boxing, Lawrence Newton, fighting September 10th here in Delray Beach. I'll be at that fight. A lot of good local talent. A lot of good local talent on that card, like Antonio Bang Williams. I'll be at that card. What's his name? Lawrence Newton, Antonio Bang Williams. September 10th is also the same day as Oscar Valdez's fight. My boys Marcos Paz and Paul Ponte are fighting in Mexico that day. So there's a lot of boxing on the 10th. A lot of boxing on the 10th. David Salah says, "When is your next fight?" I don't know. I'm not fighting soon. I'm not fighting soon. I want to start training soon though. I'm gonna start training. I want to just get in like supreme shape, which is I feel like I'm doing, and then I want to start sparring some of my friends that are world champions and undefeated prospects. Shakur got them jokes. He says, I'm gonna bully you like Tio Danaloma. Hey, well, I'm gonna bully you like freaking what's his name? What was that one fight? What was that one fight? I'll bully you like Oscar Valdez did the. I'm gonna hit you so hard. I'm gonna hit you so hard. You gonna think I had computer on my system? How about that? Shakur? Can you school me on that Pistol Pete guy that you and your pops were talking about? Oh, of course. I love Pistol Pete. So Pete Dobson, he's like, he's a bit on the older side. He's like 31 years old right now. So, he's got to get a move on with his career, but he's still at a good age. He's a 14-0. He's a 14-0 welterweight prospect. Been in camps with all the top welterweights. He sparred Jerron Ennis, and I heard he did very good against him too. He sparred Jerron Ennis, was one of Crawford's main spar partners for a couple of his camps. Been in camp at Broner, so very, very, very experienced. Got two good wins on his two solid wins to have early in your career. He beat Jeremy J Flash Nichols, who was an okay solid guy, southpaw, undefeated prospect. Beat him for one of those U.S. WBC regional titles. Beat him. Then he beat Emmanuel Medina, who was a 16-0 undefeated fighter on the Pacquiao versus Thurman undercard, right? So then after that, he got locked into a bad contract for like 2 years. I think it was with Ludabella. Didn't box for like almost 2 years. Then he moved from New York to South Florida. He started training at the same gym I used to train at, which was a Beta Bay boxing gym. He's trained by Jeff Ports now. He's boxed 3 times this year. He's boxing a 4th time in September. And he's one of boxing's best kept secrets. He's a guy that he's kind of like his style. The best way I could classify it was like the best way I could classify it. His style is like he's not like he doesn't do anything particularly great, but he does a lot of things very very well, like very very well, and he's just very well balanced, kind of like Andre Ward. Like he's very good at adapting. I've seen him spar some other prospects and other fighters. There's actually a sparring session of him here on my channel. You type his name in and type in Pete Dobson versus Robert Duran Jr. sparring session. You'll get it, and you'll get an idea what kind of fighter he is by watching that. But a good fighter, someone that I think is going to be getting a big fight in the near future. In fact, I can't really talk too much, but I know he got offered a big fight recently. But I don't know if he took it or if he turned it down. But you'll be hearing about him soon. So just remember that name. Hey BT, shout out to Ramirez. Hey BT, I gotta say that one of my favorite videos from your channel was when you and your dad were at the Boo Boo fight, yelling at Eddie Hearns to get Boo Boo the Canelo fight. That was great. That was a great video. And that it's funny you mentioned that because that's the kind of content I want to do more of. I want to next year, I think is going to be my best year on YouTube. Next year, I want to go to as many fights as humanly possible, and my goal is to do more of that kind of content, like going to the fights, interviewing fans, reactions from inside the arena, that kind of stuff, and then also interviewing fighters when I run into them around the casinos or the arenas. I feel like that's the kind of content people would like more. So I'm just right now I'm in re-up season. I'm just stacking my money right now, living a very very stingy but humble life and save my money, and then when push comes to shove next year, we're going to be going to some fights, a lot of fights. I'm gonna stick that jab in your face, and I have reflexes like Caleb Plant. Okay, champ. You talk a good game, but we'll see. BT Sinisa Estrada looks like a businesswoman with the pantsuits. She's gonna be a 3 division champion, or she's gonna get the Yesenia Gomez unification. Well, look, it wouldn't have been a lie without mentioning the lovely and equally talented Sinisa Estrada. I think her next fight will be against Esparza. That's what I think. I think she'll make a fight at 112 with her and Esparza. At what age should a boxer stop fighting under all conditions? Also, why don't sanctioning bodies have this in place? Okay, so those are two good questions. So I think you're asking the wrong question because it's not really so much about what age is the fighter. It's about how much punishment and how much wear and tear does he have on the body, like. Because two fighters can be 30 years old, but one fighter could be a young 30, and one fighter could be an old 30. It all depends on what kind of fights you've been in and what kind of punishment you've taken in the gym. So I feel like you gotta look at that more so than the age. As far as sanctioning bodies don't have certain rules in place because sanctioning bodies wants that money. That's why they don't have these rules in place, champ. That's why they don't have the rules in place, champ. Styonnes versus Ortiz, who wins? Definitely Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz would punch a hole right through him. And I hate saying that because I think he'll beat him. Styonnes is a big, strong, come forward boxer, but I think Virgil Ortiz just has more skills and more dimensions with him. You know what I'm saying? He has more dimensions with him. So, I think Virgil will get it done in that fight. But yeah, man, I think on that note, guys, like, look, should I stay for 10 more minutes, guys? Should I do 10 more minutes? Yes or no? In the comments, let me know. 10 more minutes, yes or no? Because I'm getting close to 3 hours. I've been talking for 3 hours straight. I haven't even drank a cup of water. That's crazy. We got 10 more minutes left. Drop your questions in. Smash that like button, super chat. I'll be here for 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here because I do gotta get to a couple of other videos and prepare for tomorrow's live. Yeah, Hyro says he wants a 24-hour live. Nah, because then I have to go live, going all the way up to the fight. And I'm not doing that. I need my rest. Champ. How good was Felix Trinidad? Felix Trinidad was a brilliant fighter. You know, a hard puncher. One of the pound for pound best Puerto Rican fighters ever. He just ran into a guy that was pound for pound better than him, Bernard Hopkins. But you know, in his prime, one of the most dangerous and brilliant boxers out there of his era. Mike Tyson versus Riddick Bowe. So, come on, man. Come on. He already know. You already know what I'm gonna say. Riddick Bowe. Ain't nobody fucking with Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe in his prime? They're not beating Riddick Bowe in his prime. It's not happening, champ. It's not happening. I'm picking Riddick Bowe against the field. If we're talking prime Riddick Bowe, I'm picking Riddick Bowe against the field. Before you go, Josh Taylor is ducking Montana Love. Oh my God. You really serious about that? You really think Josh Taylor's ducking Montana Love? You think that's okay, champ? Whatever you think. Cleveland stand up. Ohio runs boxing. Joey Butifuco fought WWE China in a great celebrity boxing back in the day. What would be a good battle of the sexes celebrity boxing match? A good battle of the sexes celebrity boxing match would be me versus Sinisa Estrada. That would be the best one in history. That would be escribiendo la historia. That would be right in history. That's the one we gotta make. That's the one we gotta make, man. Shannon Briggs is fighting Rampage Jackson. Oh, that's a thing now? That's a thing? Oh man. I might watch that. I might watch that fight. That'll probably be entertaining. Trinidad versus Andre Ward. Oh, I got Andre Ward. I think he would neutralize Trinidad, but it'd be a good fight. If Trinidad pops Andre Ward up in his mouth, you know, like the Donald Boone did, you just never know what could happen. But I think the safe bet would be Andre Ward. Andre SOG. But yeah, it's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, hitting you guys with that random prime time boxing talk. 3 hours like it's nothing. When you got this $1 million mouthpiece, when you got this $1 million mouthpiece, you can just keep talking and talking and talking. God has blessed me. God has blessed me with $1 million mouthpiece, and I thank him every day for it. Kevin from Chicago, he said, prime time. Yes, sir. Prime time, like Deion Sanders. Don't forget it. Not even a drink of water. Like, look, you guys have seen me. I'm holding my phone. Like, look, I have my phone in both hands. I have not had a drop of water. I've talked for 3 minutes straight without any water. I don't even do this on my live fight reaction because normally when I do my live fight reactions, I always have water or something near me. I drank a Yoo-Hoo. Even worse, I drank a Yoo-Hoo right before I went on this live. 3 hours straight like that. You know? Not everybody. Hold on. I gotta let the world know again who I am. Just who it is I am. Not everybody. You know, it's not easy being a king, man. You know, God made me an iconic person, so we're gonna keep being iconic, talking that boxing. Drop your questions down below. We got about 7 minutes left, and then I'm gonna dip. Why did Ken Norton never fight Frazier, and who would you pick in that fight? Ooh. Now that's a fight. That is a fight. I would like. Ken Norton can box. Ken Norton can punch. Frazier. Man, Frazier. I think Ken Norton wins a close decision, split. I think that'd be a fight where I think Joe Frazier might drop Ken Norton, but then Ken Norton would outbox him, maybe outslug him a little bit. But that one could go either way, champ. That one could go either way. The real question is who the hell would train those fighters? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Eddie Futch trained both of them. So who would he train? Would he train Frazier or would he train Norton? People need to say Jake Paul need to fight a boxer and he can fight Chavez Jr. That'd be a great fight. He might fuck around and beat Chavez Jr. If Anderson Silva can do it, maybe Jake Paul got a chance. Yeah, champ. Not even a drink of water. But guess what? When this live is done, I'm about to guzzle a whole half a gallon of water. my mouth is dry right now. 3 hours on your head. God bless you, fam. See you tomorrow on the live. Okay, Panama. I'll see you tomorrow. Roberto Duran versus Chavez Sr. Give me Roberto Duran. I like Roberto Duran in that fight. Yeah. Philip Hrgovic versus Tony Yoka. Oh my God, Philip Hrgovic beat the shit out of Tony Yoka. Tony Yoka, his style is too amateur. If they fight right now in their current form, I think Philip Hrgovic will beat the shit out of him. I think that fight we need to be a fight that happens later on down the line because Yoka needs a lot of work as a professional fighter. He's got very amateur style, but he's good though. He's a good fighter, but he's got a lot of work that needs to be done on his style. But that could be one for the future if Tony Yoka doesn't pop dirty for any more steroids. Because he's probably listen. If we're gonna give heat to Oscar Valdez and Canelo and these guys, we gotta give that same heat to Tony Yoka. George Foreman versus Lennox Lewis. Who wins? Which version of Foreman are we talking about? Are we talking about the old version of George Foreman that was selling barbecues and all that stuff, or are we talking about big, mean, young George Foreman that lost to Ali but that knocked out Joe Frazier in 2 rounds? Which Foreman are we talking about? Personally, I think both of them could beat for Lennox Lewis. Prime George, I think would be Lennox Lewis, and I think the George that beat what's his name? Michael Moore would have a good chance too. Is there anyone in history that could beat Inoue? Of course. Y'all might disagree with me, but I think if him and Chocolatito would have fought at 112 or 115 or 108 when they were supposed to fight, I think Chocolatito would have beat the brakes off of Inoue. But Inoue didn't want that smoke. Inoue didn't want that smoke so much so to the point he jumped up 2 weight classes and purposely avoided Chocolatito. He was at 108. He turned pro 108, won a world title. Chocolatito was at 112. He said, nope, I'm not going to 112. I'm going to 115, and I'm going to go fight the old 40-year-old Omar Narvaez. So I think we're talking about in 2014 they would have fought. I think Chocolatito could have beat him. I think Michael Carvajal would have a good chance. I think the guys that he didn't fight at 115 would all have a good chance. Rung Vasai, Estrada, all these guys have a chance. Nah, absolutely not. And no, it wouldn't stop Chocolatito. Not if we're talking Chocolatito 2012. If we're talking about 2015, 2014, Chocolatito 114 at 112. The guy who fought Brian Valoria, he's not beating that guy. Stop it. He's not beating that guy. No way. Now, if we're talking about Inoue versus Chocolatito at 115, I give Inoue that all day. But 112 and below, Chocolatito gonna beat the brakes off Inoue. That's why he didn't want to fight him. They didn't want no smoke. Yeah, he had a chance to fight him. Chocolatito was calling him out, and this man literally jumped a whole weight class and fought a 40-year-old man to not fight Chocolatito. That's a fact. Now, obviously, at 115 and above, that's Inoue all day. But we're talking about his best weight, 2014, 2015, 2013. Nah, no way. Chocolatito would have beat Inoue. But we'll never know. We'll never know that. But if you ask me in history, right, because there's been a lot of fights in boxing. There's been a lot of fights in boxing. There's been a lot of fights in boxing that have fallen through that have not happened, where they never happened for whatever reason. Out of all the fights in the history of boxing that never happened, that was supposed to happen, there's no fight that I wanted to see more than Chocolatito versus Inoue, because I'm a big fan of both obviously I'm a big fan of Cholatito, but Inoue versus Cholatito would have been something special. I was actually, what's crazy is I was actually in LA. I covered the Quadras Cholatito fight. I was ringside when he fought Quadras in 2016, and I remember I saw Inoue. I saw him walking around in the concession stand, getting nachos and shit. 2019 Inoue versus 2012 Cholatito, and oh my god, stop it, bro, stop it, no, 2012 Cholatito, no way, that's like when he was fighting, was it 2012? He fought like Takayama, and nah, bro, no way, no, absolutely not. That was the real TBE. He ain't beating the real TBE. That was truthfully the real TBE. He was not beating him. No way, no way. But I listen. We can go back and forth on that fight all day. Would have been a great one if it would have happened. But, Inoue didn't fight none of the top guys at 115. He ducked. He somehow won a title, got on the pound for pound list, but he didn't fight Cholatito, he didn't fight Gallo, he didn't fight Rungvisai, and he didn't fight Quadras. All while he was in his weight classes. It's crazy. So, hey, he outgrew the weight pretty quickly. But it is a bit, I'm not going to lie to you, I like Inoue, but it is a bit of a blemish that he didn't actually fight any of those top guys in the big classes. But, hey, it is what it is. But listen, guys, I'm going to get up on out of here. Thank you guys for a great live. I didn't even want to be on here today, but I willed myself to come on here, and it definitely was a one to remember. So I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get up on out of here. You guys, make sure you join me tomorrow for the Josh Warrington versus Mauricio Lara live fight reaction extravaganza, or should I say, the Adrian Granado versus Conor Benn live fight reaction extravaganza. I'll be here for that tomorrow, so please join me for that. Don't make no plans. Watch the fight. Watch the fight with me. Be a lot of fun. Keep watching all the content here on True School Sports. And let me see. Pound for pound, Canelo said, don't forget to match me up. Pound for pound, Canelo. When you come to the live tomorrow, let me know and I'll do it because I'll do it from my dad's phone because normally it's easy to do when I can watch it from YouTube, but I can't do it right now because like StreamYard's being weird. But I'll do it tomorrow. Just remind me. But yeah, you guys take care. God bless everybody. I'm wearing the crown. We in the home of boxing, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We'll see you guys in a couple hours. Look out for all the content. Check out any videos you may have missed. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just kidding from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.